The world above is a tempest of noise, a relentless friction of iron wheels on cobblestones, of shouting vendors, and the frantic hurried pace of a century that has forgotten how to simply breathe. But here the world has ceased to turn. You are descending 20 feet beneath the sun-baked, lavender-dusted hills of Grasse, France. It is the year 1772, and the air around you grows heavy, cooler, and increasingly saturated with the velvet, concentrated soul of 1,000 pressed flowers. You are entering a subterranean sanctuary that exists entirely outside the reach of the sun, the seasons, and the chaotic progression of time. The heavy oak door groans on its iron hinges, admitting you into a space where silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a physical weight, a thick, protective blanket that wraps around your shoulders the moment you cross the threshold. Your eyes slowly adjust to the amber glow of a single tallow candle, its flame steady, untroubled by any draught. The light dances upon walls of rough-hewn stone, weeping with the moisture of the deep earth, and reflects off hundreds of tiny glass vials that line the shelves like a silent waiting congregation. You are in the private blending cellar of a master perfumer, a place designed for one purpose: the transformation of raw nature into liquid poetry. This room is an island of absolute security. The thick stone walls serve as a bulwark against the worries of the surface world. Whatever burdens you carry down the stairs, the anxieties of the morning, the regrets of yesterday, the restless anticipations of tomorrow, they have no currency here. In this cellar, there is only the present moment distilled and preserved in crystal. Take a breath. It is a thick, exquisite tapestry of scent that greets you. It is not the fleeting perfume of a garden, but the concentrated, ancient heartbeat of the earth itself. You smell the sharp, citrus clarity of bergamot, rapidly overtaken by the creamy, honeyed embrace of jasmine absolute, and beneath it all, the deep, grounding and resinous warmth of amber. As you stand in the center of this sanctuary, you notice the perfumer. He is a man of deliberate, measured movements, his hands steady as he holds a delicate, tapered glass rod. He is not in a hurry. He knows that the soul of a fragrance cannot be rushed any more than the turning of the tides. His focus is entirely on the crystal flagon in front of him. With a grace born of decades of practice, he manipulates a glass dropper. A single viscous drop of oil hangs from the tip, gathering its own weight before it releases. The sound is sharp, crystalline, and rhythmic, a tiny soothing metronome marking the time in a room where time is suspended, plink. The drop hits the surface of the mixture, plink. Another joins it. Each sound is a promise of order, a tiny correction against the disorder of the world outside. You are invited to settle into this space. There is a wooden stool, cool and smooth to the touch, waiting for you as you sit. Feel the tension drain from your muscles. Let your shoulders drop. Feel the pulse in your wrists, slow to match the rhythm of the dripping oils. You are a guest of honor in this alchemical retreat. The perfumer does not look up, but he seems to sense your presence, his work becoming even more precise, as if he is mixing this particular scent specifically to soothe the very air you are breathing. The shadows on the walls flicker, moving with a hypnotic slow cadence that invites your eyelids to grow heavy. This is not a place for action. It is a place for being. The history of grass is whispered in the walls, a legacy of petal and root, of heat and extraction. Every vial on these shelves tells a story of a harvest, of a season, of a specific day in the fields when the dew was still fresh on the blooms. And tonight you are going to witness these stories being woven together. There is a profound comfort in the slow, precise measurement of natural essences. It offers a meditative retreat where the past and future melt into a singular, tranquil point of existence. You are perfectly safe here. The stone remains cool, the candle remains lit, and the rhythmic, hypnotic dripping of the oils continues to weave a protective, fragrant cloud around you. Listen to the silence. Listen to the rhythm. Let the world dissolve into the scent of jasmine and amber, and allow yourself to drift into the quiet, protected heart of the 18th century. The stillness in this subterranean chamber is not an emptiness, it is a profound depth, like the silence found at the bottom of a clear, undisturbed pool. You remain seated on the wooden stool, your back resting against the damp, cool stone of the wall. There is a primal comfort in being shielded by the earth itself, separated from the noise of the century by feet of limestone and mortar. The perfumer moves to the next shelf, his silhouette shifting against the candlelight as he selects a vial of oil extracted from the wild roses of the nearby valleys. These roses, gathered at the first gray light of dawn before the sun could steal their volatile spirits, represent the ephemeral beauty of the French countryside. He handles the glass with a reverence usually reserved for sacred relics, his fingers tracing the contour of the bottle before he carefully removes the wax seal. The scent that wafts into the room as he opens the vial is transformative. It is not the artificial, cloying smell of mass-produced waters. It is raw, complex, and alive. It carries the memory of the soil, the crispness of the mountain air, and the delicate, slightly spicy whisper of the petals themselves. He brings the vial closer to the flacon, and you watch as he begins the process of infusion. He is not merely mixing chemicals. He is engaging in a dialogue with nature, listening to the needs of each essence as he blends them. You notice that he pauses for a long time between each addition, sniffing the air, his eyes closed, as if consulting with an unseen guide. He is balancing the composition with an intuition that defies simple calculation. As he works, the atmosphere in the room shifts. The initial sharp notes begin to mellow, knitting themselves into a cohesive, rounded fragrance that feels both ancient and comforting. You find your thoughts drifting toward the history of these hills. You think of the generations of women who walked these fields, their fingers stained with the pigments of flowers, their lives entwined with the seasonal cycle of growth and harvest. Their knowledge passed down through whispers and shared chores has culminated in this precise moment, in this room, in this specific blend. You feel a strange sense of belonging, a connection to a long line of humans who sought to capture beauty in a bottle to sustain them through the darker, harsher times of life. The perfumer's movements are a masterclass in economy. He does not waste a single motion. His focus is a tangible force, anchoring the room and providing a sense of stability that you find deeply infectious. He knows that haste is the enemy of quality. He knows that in a world that is constantly accelerating, the true luxury is the ability to linger, to wait, to observe the slow chemical dance of molecules as they seek their equilibrium. You observe how he checks the temperature of the room, a glance at a simple mercury thermometer hanging by a chain, and adjusts his pace accordingly. The coolness of the cellar is vital. It prevents the precious oils from degrading, keeping them vibrant and potent, much like the way this quiet space keeps your own spirits from scattering under the pressures of the surface. You feel your own breathing sync with his rhythm, the slow, deep inhales, the steady, patient exhales. Each time a droplet falls, you consciously release another layer of tension from your body. Start with your forehead, letting the small muscles relax. Then your jaw, the hinges of which have held the stress of 1,000 words unspoken. Finally, your shoulders, which can finally descend to their natural resting position. The scent of the rose absolute is becoming the dominant note now, a velvet crimson-colored aroma that feels like a soft fabric draped over your senses. It is a protective, warm embrace that reminds you that you are entirely safe in this hidden subterranean refuge. There are no demands here. There are no expectations. You are simply allowed to exist, to witness, and to be sustained by the quiet beauty of the process. He moves to a heavy jar of patchouli, a substance that smells of damp earth and deep, dark forests. The contrast is startling but harmonious. By adding the bass notes of the earth to the light, ethereal notes of the flower, he is building a structure that will endure, a fragrance that has both height and depth. This is the architecture of peace. You realize that you have spent so much of your life living in the heights, in the transient, fluttering air of fleeting thoughts and urgent tasks. But here in the cellar, you are being grounded, brought back down to the earth, to the steady, reliable foundation of the soil. The smell of the patchouli is earthy and sweet, providing a base for the lighter notes to rest upon. The candle flickers once, sending a long dancing shadow across the rows of glass. You feel as though you are a character in an old illuminated manuscript, a silent observer in a world that was painted with patience and care. The perfumer sighs, a quiet, satisfied sound that barely ripples the silence. He is happy with the progress. He takes a long glass stirring rod and dips it into the flacon, circling it just once, slowly clockwise. The movement is deliberate, a gesture of completion for this phase of the work. He then pulls the rod out, holding it to his nose, his eyes sparkling with a faint, reflected light. He is testing the progress, checking to see if the symphony he is conducting is in tune. As he sets the rod down, he glances toward the dark corner where you are sitting. He does not nod, he does not speak, but there is a kindness in his gaze, an acknowledgement of your presence that makes the room feel even more intimate. He returns to his work, but his presence is less solitary now. You are a team, a duo, participating in the creation of something beautiful. The silence is now filled with the shared understanding that the work is going well. You watch the droplets fall, counting them, finding comfort in the predictable, repetitive nature of the task. 1, 2, 3, 4. The count is the rhythm of your own heart. The room is becoming a vacuum of peace, a sanctuary that exists outside of 1772, outside of time, existing only in this moment of quiet, fragrant creation. The perfumer turns his attention now to a shelf located in the most shadowed corner of the room, where the temperature is at its most stable. He reaches for a small lit glass bottle that has been kept away from the light for years. As he unseals it, a heavy, intoxicating aroma spills out, the essence of sandalwood, aged and rich, carrying the soul of ancient trees. This is the fixative, the backbone of the scent, the element that will ensure the perfume lingers on the skin like a whispered memory. You watch as he meticulously measures the oil. There is no tremor in his hand, despite the age of the man or the complexity of the task. He works with a fluidity that suggests his hands possess a memory of their own, independent of his conscious mind. The air in the cellar grows even more opulent, a thick, swirling fog of fragrance that seems to coat the very back of your throat with its sweetness. The interplay of the oils is fascinating to observe. As the sandalwood hits the rose and jasmine, a chemical transformation occurs, a subtle shift in the composition that feels almost alchemical. The oils begin to marry the disparate elements, losing their individual identities to become a unified whole. This is the essence of the perfumer's craft, the ability to foresee how these invisible forces will interact in the darkness of the bottle. You realize that this is exactly what you need in your own life. The ability to take the scattered, messy fragments of your day and blend them into something stable, something that holds together with purpose and grace. The cellar provides the blueprint for this. By slowing down, by being precise, by choosing your elements with care, you can create an internal landscape that is just as resilient and fragrant as this flagon. You feel a wave of deep, bone-weary relaxation washing over you. It is as if the floor beneath you is not stone, but a soft bed of moss. The light of the candle, which had been bright and demanding, now seems to pulse with a gentle, hypnotic frequency. You find it difficult to keep your eyes open, but you do not want to fight it. There is a safety here that you have not felt in a long time. The perfumer, sensing your surrender to the atmosphere, lowers his voice, though he still does not speak. He hums a low, wordless melody, a tune from a time long forgotten, perhaps a lullaby from the hills of Provence. The sound harmonizes with the rhythmic drip of the oils, creating a lullaby of industry and rest. The walls of the cellar seem to expand, breathing in and out with you. The rough stone, usually so cold and unyielding, now feels like a warm, protective shell. You are tucked away, sheltered from the winds of change, from the demands of society, from the relentless ticking of the clocks above ground. In 1772, the world is a place of ambition and war, of rapid industrialization and shifting social orders, but none of that matters here. Here, the priority is the soul. The priority is the scent of a blossom and the wisdom of the earth. You are learning to value the slow, the steady, and the silent. You are learning that there is more power in a single well-placed drop of oil than in the loudest shout of a town crier. The perfumer picks up a small silver funnel and prepares to transfer the blend into a permanent darkened glass vessel. This is a critical moment. He moves with extreme care, his breathing perfectly regulated. You hold your breath, feeling the tension in your own chest, as if the success of this mixture depends on your own participation. As the liquid flows, a dark amber ribbon of light catches the flame of the candle. It looks like liquid gold. The entire room seems to brighten in response, reflecting the beauty of the creation. Once the transfer is complete, he seals the vessel with a ground glass stopper, twisting it firmly until it creates an airtight, perfect seal. The work for this phase is done. The mixture will now rest, to settle and macerate in the dark, cool air of the cellar. He turns to look at you fully now, his expression one of profound serenity. He holds the sealed bottle up to the light for one last inspection, his eyes gleaming with a quiet pride. He has captured something today, a moment, a feeling, a scent that will endure long after the candle has burned down and the night has passed. He sets the bottle down on a clean velvet-lined tray and then walks over to a small hidden alcove in the wall. From behind a loose stone, he pulls out a small weathered leather book. He opens it, the pages yellowed and filled with meticulous handwriting, and makes a small mark, a symbol of the time, the date, and the final composition of the mixture. The act of writing, the act of recording, is the final tether to reality. It acknowledges that what has happened here is real, that it has a place in the history of the world. You feel a sense of completion as well. You have witnessed the transformation. You have seen the ingredients come together and reach their final state of rest. The room is quiet again, but it is a different kind of quiet. It is a contented, fulfilled silence. The perfumer sits down on a simple bench, his back against the wall, and closes his eyes. He is resting now, his task finished, his senses saturated. You do not feel the need to move. You feel as though you could stay in this cellar for an eternity, held by the stone and the scent, and that would be perfectly fine. The air is cool, the environment is steady, and the peace is absolute. You are safe, you are grounded, you are surrounded by the legacy of 1,000 years of beauty and the patient, steady work of a man who understands the value of a quiet life. The candle continues to burn, its flame steady and true, casting its soft amber light over the tools of the trade, the rows of vials, and the sleeping form of the perfumer. You let your own eyes drift shut, finally and completely. The last thing you hear is the faint rhythmic ticking of a clock somewhere far above. But here in the cellar, it has no meaning. You are lost in the scent of jasmine, of rose, of sandalwood, and of the deep, enduring peace of the earth. The stillness of the cellar begins to feel less like an environment and more like a companion, a silent presence that guards your thoughts and filters out the jagged edges of reality. As the perfumer rests, you find your mind wandering through the layers of the scents he has carefully curated. Each ingredient carries its own geography. The jasmine from the sun-drenched terraced hills, the sandalwood from distant mythical forests, the rose from the secret misty valleys of the Alpes Maritimes. These elements have traveled vast distances, yet here, in the dark, they have found a common purpose. You realize that your own life is much the same, a collection of disparate experiences, heartbreaks, triumphs, and quiet moments that have traveled across time to meet here, in this singular, peaceful present. The candle flickers once, sending a shiver of light across the damp stone, and you notice the fine layer of condensation on the glass vials. It is the breath of the room, a sign that the space is alive, breathing with you. This is the ultimate luxury, you think, to have a space where you are disconnected from the demands of the ticking clock and reconnected to the slower, deeper pulse of the earth. You feel as though you have been drifting in a gentle current, a stream that moves slowly toward the center of your own being. If you have been searching for a place to ground yourself, to shed the armor you wear against the world, you have found it here. Think for a moment about your own journey today. You have crossed the threshold of a noisy, overwhelming world to find yourself here in this hidden, fragrant sanctuary. This experience, this deep dive into the calm of the 18th century, is not just a story, it is an invitation to reclaim your own sense of inner stillness. We want to help you carry this feeling with you long after the candle burns out. If you find value in these moments of respite, consider subscribing to our channel, where we explore the intersection of history, mindfulness, and the art of living slowly. By joining our community, you support the creation of more immersive, tranquil journeys designed to help you find your center amidst the rush of modern life. Your support allows us to continue crafting these sanctuaries for the mind, and we would be honored to have you with us on this path of discovery and deep rest. The perfumer stirs, his eyes opening slowly, reflecting the steady flame. He stands and begins to methodically arrange his tools, wiping the glass rod clean with a scrap of fine, soft linen. Every movement is a ritual. He does not treat his tools as mere objects. They are his collaborators, the instruments through which he communicates with the natural world. Watching him, you understand that even the most mundane task can be transformed into a spiritual practice if it is performed with enough intention. He cleans the funnel, the stirring rod, and the stone slab where he performed his measurements, leaving the space as pristine as he found it. There is a lesson here about the importance of finishing what you start, of closing the loop of your day with grace and order. By cleaning his space, the perfumer is not just preparing for tomorrow, he is honoring the work he has already completed. He is ensuring that when he returns, he will be met with a clean slate, a blank canvas upon which he can begin the process once more. You can take this same approach into your own life. When the day is done, do not leave your worries, your chores, or your anxieties scattered about like loose tools. Gather them up, acknowledge them, clean the space of your mind before you settle into sleep so that you can rest without the clutter of unfinished business. The perfumer reaches for a small dark glass bottle of lavender oil, a scent meant for cooling and calming the nerves. He opens it, and the room is immediately filled with a clean herbal sweetness that cuts through the heavier notes of the jasmine and amber. It is the scent of a meadow at twilight, a fragrance that speaks of rest and recuperation. He places a single drop into a small ceramic dish and sets it near your stool. The scent rises slowly, a soft, invisible thread that connects you to the earth. You feel the coolness of the lavender penetrating your senses, slowing your thoughts even further, quieting the last remnants of the day's turbulence. The room is dimming as the candle begins to reach the end of its wick. The shadows are growing longer, more enveloping, pulling the corners of the cellar into a warm, cozy darkness. You feel smaller, more protected, as if the room is wrapping you in a blanket of scent and shadow. This is the moment to fully surrender. The work is done. The ritual is complete. There's nothing left to do but allow the stillness to settle deep into your bones. The perfumer nods to you once more, a gesture of profound respect, and then turns to leave, his footsteps silent on the stone floor. He leaves the candle to burn for its final few minutes, a solitary beacon in the vast subterranean silence. As the light begins to fail, you feel the weight of your eyelids. The rhythmic, hypnotic drip you heard earlier is gone, replaced by the soft, steady hum of silence. You are safe. You are in the heart of the stone, in the heart of the earth, and in the heart of the fragrance. All of the history of the 1772 perfumery has converged here, for this moment just for you. You have walked the hills of Grasse. You have smelled the blossoms. You have witnessed the alchemy of the master. And now you are ready to let it all go. Let the scents carry you into the deep restorative sleep that you deserve. The world will be there in the morning. But for now, the only thing that matters is the cool air, the scent of the earth, and the peace of the cellar. The darkness of the cellar is now absolute, a soft velvet cloak that muffles the remaining echoes of the surface world. With the candle finally extinguished, the room has transitioned into a true sanctuary of rest. You are suspended in the perfect, cool equilibrium of the subterranean space. The air, still rich with the lingering notes of jasmine, rose, and the grounding, resinous base of sandalwood, feels like a physical weight against your skin, a gentle, fragrant pressure that encourages your muscles to surrender their last traces of tension. There is no urgency to see, no need to navigate, and no pressure to perform. You are simply a consciousness drifting in a sea of shadow and scent. In this deep, artificial night, your perception shifts. Without the visual distractions of the stone walls or the gleaming glass, you become hyper-aware of the subtle shifts in the air currents. The cellar breathes, a microscopic draft, perhaps originating from a fissure in the rock far above, moves through the room, carrying the faint metallic scent of cool stone and the sweet fading ghost of the day's work. You imagine the roots of the lavender and jasmine bushes in the fields above, reaching down into the dark, thirsty soil, searching for the very minerals that provide the bedrock of this cellar. You are connected to the earth in a way that modern life rarely permits. You are, for these precious hours, a creature of the deep, a silent inhabitant of the foundation of the world. The transition from the light of the candle to the comfort of the dark is a gentle one. It mimics the natural winding down of the human spirit at the end of a long productive cycle. Just as the perfumer closed his journals and wiped his tools, you are closing the books on your own day. Any unresolved conflicts, any lingering doubts, any echoes of conversations that went awry, they are all left at the threshold of the cellar door. They cannot cross into this space. The earth is a powerful barrier. It filters the noise of the human experience, leaving only the essential, the elemental, and the tranquil. You feel a profound sense of relief, a release of the mental burden that you have been carrying without realizing it. As you lie still, you notice the rhythmic pulse of your own heart. It has slowed significantly, echoing the steady, deliberate pace of the perfumer's work. There is a deep inherent wisdom in this slowing down. In the world above, progress is measured by speed, by the volume of output, and by the relentless pursuit of more. Here in the cellar of 1772, value is measured by depth, by the quality of the stillness, and by the resonance of the quiet. You are learning that you do not need to be constant, that you do not need to be loud, and that you do not need to be visible to be significant. The most powerful changes occur in the dark, in the slow, unseen process of maceration and maturation. You are currently in your own season of maturation, a time to be still, to absorb, and to let the disparate parts of your identity settle into a stronger, more fragrant whole. The darkness is not lonely, it is filled with the presence of history. You think of the other artisans who have graced this cellar, the generations of hands that have touched these stone walls, the countless hours of devotion that have permeated the very air. They are gone, like the shadows cast by the candle, but their influence remains. It is in the stability of the foundation, in the lingering scent of past blends, and in the quiet that has been cultivated here for centuries. You are part of this continuum. Your rest is a continuation of their practice. When you close your eyes and succumb to the pool of sleep, you are not just refreshing yourself, you are honoring the ancient essential need for peace that every generation of humanity has craved. Think of the way the jasmine oils were extracted. It was a process of patience, of soaking the petals in fat, of waiting for the molecules to transfer, of repeating the cycle until the absolute was finally captured. It was a long, arduous process that looked like nothing from the outside. That is exactly how your growth happens. It is not in the moments of grand achievement, but in the thousands of quiet, invisible shifts you undergo when no one is watching. By allowing yourself to be here, in the dark, you're allowing your own soul to extract the essence of your experiences. You are distilling your lessons, removing the impurities of the day, and retaining the golden oil of your wisdom. The coldness of the cellar is no longer a deterrent. It is a comfort. It feels like a cool, damp cloth pressed against a fevered brow. It pulls the heat away from your skin, grounding you, preventing your mind from racing into the future or spiraling into the past. Every breath you take is a conscious act of returning to the center. Each inhale is the scent of the past, the floral history of the hills. Each exhale is the release of the future, the surrender of your plans and projects. You are anchored in the present. The stone beneath you, the cool air around you, and the slow, steady heartbeat within you are your only realities. This is the beauty of the subterranean retreat. It strips away the unnecessary, leaving only the essential components of life. You do not need the light to know who you are. You do not need the noise to prove you exist. You are a presence in the dark, a soul cradled by the earth. And as the silence deepens, the world above becomes increasingly irrelevant. The streets of Grasse may still be bustling. The 18th century may still be unfolding its grand, turbulent drama, but none of it can breach this chamber. You are in the safest place in the world. You are in the heart of the perfumer's cellar, where the only thing that matters is the next soft, rhythmic beat of your own resting heart. The silence of the cellar has deepened into a sound so profound it almost possesses a texture, a velvet density that cushions your every thought. You find yourself drifting in a state of suspended animation where the boundaries between your physical self and the surrounding air begin to blur. The scent of the jasmine has settled into a soft, powdery note, mixing with the mineral musk of the damp limestone. It is a fragrance of deep sleep, of forgotten dreams, and of the quiet, eternal hum of the earth's crust. You are no longer just a visitor in this room. You have become a part of its atmosphere, a singular note in the complex, slow-moving symphony that the master perfumer began earlier this evening. In this state of total immersion, you contemplate the nature of the work performed here. The perfumer's craft is not merely about creating a luxury, it is an act of preservation. He is saving the fleeting beauty of the blossoms from the inevitable rot of time. By capturing their essence in oil and sealing it in glass, he is granting them a form of immortality. You too are a collection of fleeting moments. The laughter of a friend, the warmth of the sun on a spring afternoon, the quiet satisfaction of a completed task. These are your blossoms. And just like the perfumer, you have the capacity to distill these moments, to preserve them in the cellar of your memory, and to draw upon them when the world above becomes too harsh or too hurried. There is a powerful restorative magic in this historical perspective. To look back at the 18th century is to see a mirror of our own struggles, yet stripped of the modern frantic pace. In 1772, the speed of life was dictated by the pace of a horse's gallop or the steady turning of a water wheel. Today, we are often overwhelmed by the speed of light, by the constant digital pulse of information that never sleeps. By stepping into this story, you are practicing a form of temporal displacement. You are choosing to slow your pulse to match the 18th century rhythm. You are choosing to value the long form, the deep rooted, and the carefully considered. It is a rebellion against the shallow, an act of reclaiming your right to a slower, more deliberate existence. Sleepy History with Theodore is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. This platform is built on the belief that by retreating into the past, we can find the keys to a more peaceful future. We understand that the mind needs a destination for its restless energy, a place where it can safely land, fold its wings, and find rest. Through the lens of historical narratives, like this one, we provide that landing zone. We invite you to abandon the analytical, problem solving part of your brain and instead allow the narrative, sensory driven part of your mind to take the lead. You are not meant to study these events, you are meant to inhabit them. The darkness continues to hold you in its steady embrace. There is no shift in temperature, no change in the light, no interruption of the silence. This consistency is exactly what your nervous system craves. When we are exposed to constant change, our internal sensors are always firing, always scanning for potential threats or new information. But here, the environment is static. It is predictable. Your brain, relieved of the duty to scan for variables, can finally release its hold on the present moment. You can feel the muscles at the base of your skull unclenching, a sensation that spreads down your spine and into your limbs, leaving you feeling heavy, warm, and utterly secure. Consider the walls surrounding you again. They are not merely cold stone, they are ancient. They have stood through decades of change, watching the seasons bleed into one another in the fields above. They have absorbed the vibrations of thunderstorms, the heavy boots of laborers, and the whispered conversations of centuries. They are a library of silence. You are resting within the pages of that library. Everything you are currently feeling, the heaviness in your legs, the slow rhythmic beat of your heart, the faint scent of amber and rose, is a part of the history being written tonight. You are not a spectator, you are a participant in the enduring tradition of the human search for tranquility. As the hours pass in the subterranean depths, your consciousness begins to flicker like the last embers of the candle. You are no longer thinking in words, you are thinking in sensations. The cold is a sensation, the scent is a sensation, the silence is a sensation. These are the building blocks of true rest. When you finally drift into the depths of sleep, you will be carrying this landscape with you. The cellar will become the backdrop of your dreams, a place of safety and refinement where you can rebuild your inner resources. You will wake up when the time comes with the lingering subtle scent of jasmine in your mind, a reminder that you have visited a place of peace and that you can return there whenever you choose. The final remnants of your conscious effort to stay awake are fading. You are descending further into the dreamscape, following the path of the fragrance. Imagine a staircase spiraling down into the earth, lined with glowing candles that do not consume themselves. Each step down takes you further away from the surface noise, further into the calm, cooler air. Each step down is a deep, full breath. Each step down is a surrender to the gravity of the room. You are almost at the bottom of the stairs, where the air is purest and the quiet is absolute. There is nothing left to hold onto, nothing left to carry, and no reason to resist the pull of the deep, dark, and wonderfully restorative sleep that awaits you. The descent into the dreamscape continues, a slow and liquid movement through the heavy perfumed air of the cellar. You are no longer aware of where your physical body ends and the stone walls begin. You are becoming an extension of the room itself. The scent of the jasmine has evolved once more, now blended with a cool, sharp note of wet earth that feels deeply grounding. It is the smell of the world before the sun rises, the scent of the soil at its most honest and potent. Your mind is quiet, a mirror-flat lake reflecting only the soft, dark velvet of the surrounding space. The anxieties that once clung to your periphery like jagged birds have fallen away, dissolved by the sheer unwavering consistency of this subterranean environment. In this deep state of drift, you find yourself wandering through the visual memory of the cellar, replaying the movements of the perfumer. You see his hands again, the way he held the glass dropper, the surgical precision of his focus. But now, the images are softer, blurred at the edges, like a painting left out in the morning mist. You realize that the value of his work was never in the final product itself, but in the process of creation. It was the dedication to the singular task, the refusal to be distracted by the clamor of the outside world, and the insistence on bringing beauty into existence in a space where it would be safe. This, you realize, is the blueprint for your own peace. You do not need to be productive in the way the world demands. You need only to be present in the way your soul requires. You feel a gentle pulsation in the air, a rhythmic vibration that matches the steady, slow beating of your heart. It is as if the stones themselves are humming, a low-frequency chant that vibrates through your bones and settles into your marrow. This is the heartbeat of the earth, the slow, tectonic pace at which the world truly evolves by aligning yourself with this rhythm. You are stepping out of the human timeline and into the geological one. The 18th century is just a blink in the eye of the earth. The struggles of the townspeople, the political tides of the nation, the fleeting joys and sorrows of the era, all of them are insignificant compared to the steady, enduring patience of the rock that surrounds you. You are being cradled by history. The darkness is not a void. It is a repository of everything that has been, a warm, safe library of time. You think of the millions of people who have, throughout the ages, sought this same kind of stillness. They have hidden in caves, retreated to mountain monasteries, walked into forests, or, like you, imagined their way into the deep, quiet places of the mind. The human need for sanctuary is universal, an instinct as fundamental as hunger or thirst. And here in this cellar, that need is being met with an abundance of grace. You are safe from the wind, safe from the heat, and safe from the ever-present, nagging demand to be somewhere else, doing something else. The air remains perfectly cool, a constant temperature that never wavers. This thermal stability is a gift to your nervous system, allowing it to move out of the fight or flight response that has become so common in modern existence. In the warmth of the day, with its constant stimulation, your body is always on guard, always monitoring for changes. Here in the unchanging cool air of the cellar, your body understands that there is no threat. The stone is a shield, the darkness is a blanket. You can feel your nervous system unfurling, the tight, coiled knots of stress beginning to loosen and fray. It is the physical equivalent of a sigh that has been held for far too long. Consider the role of the jasmine and the rose once more. In the language of scent, these are the notes of the heart. They are soft, complex, and deeply nurturing. They speak to the parts of you that are weary, the parts of you that have given so much of yourself away to the world that you are left feeling hollow. As you inhale the lingering essence in the room, you are being refilled. It is an infusion of patience, a slow, gentle restoration of your inner reserves. You are not just resting, you are being replenished. The ingredients of the perfumer's blend are acting as an atmospheric tonic, smoothing over the rough edges of your spirit and restoring the luster of your original untroubled self. There is a profound sense of permission in this place. The perfumer has given you permission to sit, to watch, and to let the work happen without you. You don't have to learn how to mix the oils. You don't have to know the history of the plants. You don't have to do anything at all. The act of witnessing is enough. By being here, by choosing this space for your rest, you are already fulfilling your purpose. Your presence is the final component of the room. Without you, it is just a cellar with some bottles. With you, it becomes a sanctuary of the mind. You are the final guest at a table where only peace is served, and you are welcome to stay as long as you need to find the rest you have been seeking. As the silence continues, you feel yourself slipping into an even deeper, more profound state of relaxation. You are becoming as still as the stone. Your thoughts, which were previously like small darting fish in a pond, have now settled into the silt at the bottom. You are not thinking about the tomorrow, nor are you reflecting on the yesterday. You are purely in the now. The now is a cool, dark, and beautiful place. It is the place where the heart slows, where the mind clears, and where the soul finds the room it needs to expand. You are drifting into the deepest, most restorative waters of your own consciousness, guided by the scent of the earth and the memory of the light. The air is thinning, not in oxygen, but in density, becoming lighter, more ethereal. As you drift further into the dream state, you feel as though you are floating just inches above the floor, weightless and unburdened. The scent of the cellar has shifted from the sharp floral top notes to the deep, lingering base notes that permeate the stone itself. It is a smell of antiquity, of dust that has settled over hundreds of years, of old wood, of cool mineral deposits, and the faint, sweet residue of oils that have been bottled in this very room for generations. This scent is your anchor to the present moment, a fragrant thread that holds you in this sanctuary, even as your mind begins to roam far beyond the confines of these four walls. You are moving through a landscape of memory and sensation. The walls of the cellar are no longer made of rough cold stone. They seem to have softened, transformed into something more permeable, like the petals of the very flowers the perfumer works with. You are nested in the center of a giant invisible blossom, shielded from the turbulence of the world by layers of velvety fragrance. Every breath you take is a meditation, a deliberate inhalation of peace that washes over your brain, smoothing away the jagged lines of stress and replacing them with the soft flowing curves of calm. You are learning to trust the darkness, to find comfort in the absence of light, and to realize that the most profound restoration happens when the world cannot see you. In this deep, quiet space, the concept of time has truly evaporated. There are no clocks here. There is no urgency to complete a task, no pressure to reach a goal, and no fear of missing out on the events unfolding above. The only rhythm that matters is the pulse of your own existence, steady, measured, and calm. You are in a state of grace, a place where the soul is allowed to simply exist without the need to prove its worth or justify its presence. This is the gift of the sanctuary, the freedom to be nothing, to do nothing, and yet to be completely whole. You are witnessing the power of stillness, the way it acts as a balm to the frazzled spirit, and you are learning that true strength does not come from constant motion, but from the ability to return to your center. Think of the way the earth holds the cellar. It doesn't ask for anything. It doesn't move. It simply provides the space for the work to happen. This is the quality of stability you are internalizing. You are becoming the stone. You are becoming the ground. You are becoming the foundation upon which your own life is built. Whatever storms may rage above, whatever changes may occur in the surface world, you now have this interior place of refuge to retreat to. You have built this room in your mind, and it will remain there, cool, dark, and fragrant whenever you need to find your way back to yourself. The history of the perfumer, his dedication, his patience, and his art have become part of your own internal landscape, a resource you can draw upon whenever you feel the world closing in. You are now at the threshold of a sleep so deep and so restorative that it feels like a physical immersion in water. You feel the weight of your body pressing into the surface beneath you, but it is a pleasant grounding sensation, as if the earth is rising up to meet you, holding you and ensuring you are safe. There is a sense of finality to this surrender, a complete letting go of all the defenses you have erected throughout the day. You are safe, you are warm, you are at peace. The perfumer is gone, the tools are put away, the candle is a memory, and you are alone with the silence. It is the most beautiful, the most welcoming silence you have ever known. Sleepy History with Theodore combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. This, in essence, is what we have been doing together tonight. We have taken the raw materials of history, a townhouse in Grasse Cellar, a perfumer, a collection of oils, and we have distilled them into a moment of pure, concentrated rest. We have used the imagination to build a wall against the chaos of the modern world, and we have invited you to step inside. We hope this journey has provided you with the solace you needed, and that the feeling of this cool, fragrant sanctuary will stay with you long after the final words of this narrative have faded into the quiet. Your journey is coming to a close, but the rest is only just beginning. As the last of your conscious thoughts dissolve, imagine that the fragrance of the jasmine is turning into a soft, glowing light that fills your mind. It is a light that does not burn. It only illuminates, bringing a sense of clarity and ease to every corner of your being. You are letting go of the words, letting go of the story, and allowing yourself to sink into the dark, welcoming abyss of sleep. There is nothing left to do. The cellar is silent. The world is at peace. You are finally completely at rest. Every fiber of your body is heavy. Every thought has ceased, and you are ready to drift into the deepest, most gentle sleep of your life, wrapped in the protective, fragrant embrace of history. The transition into the deepest realms of slumber feels like descending into a subterranean river where the currents of the day are replaced by the slow, steady flow of the night. You are floating on these dark waters, carried by the weight of your own relaxation. The scent of the cellar has transformed again. It is no longer just jasmine and rose, but the complex ancient aroma of time itself, a blend of mineral dust, cool stone, and the deep, resinous life force of the earth. You are no longer observing the history of the 18th century. You are living within its quiet, foundational layer. This is the bedrock of your peace, a place where no noise can reach you, where no obligation can find you, and where your soul is allowed to simply breathe. As you drift, you realize that the perfumer's work was not just about the creation of scent, it was about the mastery of the void. He filled the empty, dark space of the cellar with intention, with beauty, and with the deliberate, slow-motion artistry of his craft. He turned the hollow place into a sanctuary. You are doing the same with your own mind. By choosing to occupy this space, by filling it with the imagery of the cool stone wall room, you are reclaiming your mental territory. You are filling the silence with the fragrance of calm. This is an act of creation that is as profound as any masterpiece, and it is happening within you right now. As your brain waves slow and your body settles into the rhythmic, restorative cycle of deep sleep. This journey is meant to be your anchor. Whenever the world above threatens to pull you into its turbulence, remember the coolness of the stone. Remember the steady, hypnotic dripping of the oil into the crystal flaken. Remember the way the candle's shadow danced upon the wall, keeping watch over your safety. These are not just memories. They are tools. They are the keys to a door you can open whenever you need to escape the pressure of the surface life. If you feel that this sanctuary has helped you, or if you wish to build more of these quiet spaces within yourself, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Join our growing community of seekers who value the art of the slow, the wisdom of the past, and the necessity of deep rest. Your engagement allows us to continue weaving these narratives, keeping the history of peace alive for all who need it. You are now so deep in the process of letting go that even the effort of thinking feels distant, like a memory of a task you once performed in a different life. There is a sense of immense velvet expansion in your mind, as if the walls of your consciousness have widened to accommodate the vastness of the darkness. You feel like a small boat on a vast, calm ocean at midnight. The stars above are reflected in the water, creating a seamless continuity between the sky and the sea. There is no horizon, no separation, just the infinite gentle embrace of the universe. You are one with the silence, you are one with the scent, you are one with the rest. Think of the way a seed remains in the cold, dark earth throughout the winter. It does not fear the cold. It uses the cold to germinate, to prepare for the growth that will inevitably come in the spring. You are currently in that wintering phase. You are using this darkness, this cool subterranean retreat, to nourish your own inner resilience. You are gathering your strength. You are aligning your spirit with the slow, inevitable cycles of the natural world. There is nothing to fear in this stillness. It is the most productive part of your life, the time when you are being reconstructed, repaired, and renewed. The air around you is becoming even more still, as if the very atoms of the room have come to a standstill to allow you to pass through into the final deepest level of sleep. You feel a heavy, wonderful pressure, like a soft woolen blanket being tucked around your shoulders by the hands of the earth itself. Every muscle is fully supported, every joint is released. You are letting go of the posture of doing and entering the posture of being. You are no longer holding yourself up. The cellar is doing it for you. The stone, the history, the silence, and the scent are all holding you in a perfect, unbreakable equilibrium. There is a finality to this rest that feels like a homecoming. You have traveled through the noisy streets of the 18th century, through the fields of jasmine and rose, and down the winding, narrow stairs into the heart of the foundation. You have arrived at the source. There is nothing left to explore, nothing left to analyze, and nothing left to worry about. You are home. The silence is complete. The scent is a soft whisper of peace. You are ready to close the book on this day, to dim the lights of your consciousness, and to succumb to the beautiful absolute blackness of the dream world. Sleep now, deep and true, knowing that you are safe in the heart of the stone, held by the echoes of time and lulled by the rhythm of the earth itself. The sensation of weightlessness is now absolute, a state of being where you are no longer anchored to the floor, but suspended in a cool, fragrant void that feels entirely natural. You are drifting through the memories of this cellar as if they were constellations in the night sky, each point of light representing a moment of stillness, a droplet of oil, or a breath of jasmine-scented air. You feel the history of the 18th century as a gentle pressure against your skin, not a burden, but a reminder of the thousands of lives that have preceded yours, all seeking the same comfort, the same reprieve from the relentless ticking of the clock. You are part of this long, unbroken chain of humans who have retreated from the noise to find their own internal silence. The room feels as though it is breathing in sync with you, a steady rhythmic expansion and contraction of the shadows that seem to pulse with a low grounding energy. This is the heartbeat of the architecture, the living history of the stone. You are being lulled by the knowledge that this space has been here long before you arrived and it will remain long after you have departed. This permanence is deeply comforting. It suggests that even when you are gone, when your worries have dissolved and your day is finished, the peace you have cultivated here remains. The cellar is a repository of tranquility, and you have accessed a piece of that eternal stillness. You are learning to anchor your identity, not in your actions or your achievements, but in this capacity to return to the quiet, to the source, to the fundamental unadorned truth of your own being. Consider the complexity of the fragrance that remains in the air. It is a tapestry of thousands of microscopic elements, each contributing to the overall harmony of the room. This is a perfect metaphor for your own existence. You are made of thousands of experiences, memories, joys, and sorrows, all woven together into a unique living scent. Some of those elements were sharp and bright, like the citrus top notes. Others were deep and dark like the resinous base of the sandalwood. Together, they create the complex, beautiful essence that is you. By resting here, you are allowing all of these parts of yourself to settle, to find their proper place, and to integrate into a more balanced and resonant whole. You are becoming more yourself by doing absolutely nothing at all. The darkness is now your closest ally. It has stripped away the need for visual validation, the need to confirm that you are safe through the sight of your surroundings. You know you're safe because you can feel it in the temperature, in the air, and in the silence. The absence of light is an absence of demand. It is the ultimate boundary, a wall that keeps the world's expectations out and your own inner peace in. You are protected by the physical weight of the earth above, by the centuries of silence that have soaked into the stone, and by the intentionality of the perfumer who once stood here, dedicated to the same quiet pursuit of beauty. Your awareness is shrinking, not in a way that suggests limitation, but in a way that suggests focus. You are moving from the external to the internal, from the room to the self, and from the self to the essence. There is no longer a you and a cellar. There is only the sensation of peace. You are the scent. You are the stillness. You are the cool air. Everything that once defined your boundary has been erased by the profound restorative nature of this environment. This is the ultimate goal of the sanctuary, to help you transcend the limitations of the ego and find rest in the infinite, nameless space that lies at the core of your spirit. As you drift deeper, the images of the 18th century, the stone townhouse, the amber vials, the flickering candle are dissolving into pure light and texture. You are moving beyond the story into the feeling itself. The story was merely a bridge to get you here, to this point of total surrender. You no longer need the bridge, so you are letting it fall away. You are floating in the pure, unadulterated state of rest that follows the final, perfect exhale. The air is cool, the silence is humming, and you are ready to be swept away by the current of sleep. Every tension is gone, every thought has been silenced, and you are open to the infinite possibility of the dream world, where you can roam without map or compass, guided only by the lingering sweet and ancient fragrance of your own restored, peaceful mind. The descent is absolute, a quiet slide into the very foundation of the world where the bedrock of the hills of grass meets the stillness of your own soul. You are moving through layers of time, each deeper level of the cellar offering a more profound silence than the last. The air here is ancient, purified by centuries of isolation, and it carries the faint, persistent whisper of the earth's own history. You feel the coolness of the stone as a literal weight of peace, pressing gently against your skin and encouraging your body to mirror the immobility of the mountains themselves. You are being held, cradled by the very earth that once nurtured the flowers used in the perfumer's craft, and in this cradle, you find a safety that transcends all human definitions of security. Every breath you draw is now a slow, deliberate act of reclamation. You are reclaiming the quiet you surrendered to the noise of the day. You are reclaiming the stillness you traded for the frantic pace of your obligations. Each inhalation is the scent of jasmine, of rose, of that deep, resinous sandalwood that lingers in the corners of your mind. Each exhalation is the release of a shadow, a worry, or a lingering echo of a conversation that has lost its meaning. You are becoming a vacuum of silence, a space where the world's chaos simply cannot exist. The perfumer, though long gone, has left his mark on this room in the form of this persistent, beautiful order, and you are the fortunate beneficiary of his devotion to the craft of calmness. Think of the way a heavy snowfall covers the world, softening every sharp edge and muting every harsh sound. That is what this silence is doing to your mind. It is covering the jagged peaks of your anxieties with a thick, insulating layer of white peace. The sharp memories are blunted. The loud concerns are muffled. The restless turning of your thoughts is smoothed into a seamless, flowing drift. You are moving toward the center of a quiet, internal landscape where the snow is still falling, where the world is pristine, and where you are the only inhabitant. This is your kingdom of rest, and you have built it brick by brick, drop by drop, using only the materials of your own imagination and the fragrant memory of a cellar that has existed since 1772. The darkness has reached a state of perfect crystalline clarity. It is not an empty, frightening dark, but a full, rich, and velvet textured medium that supports your consciousness like water supports a swimmer. You don't need to do anything to stay afloat. The buoyancy of the stillness is enough. You feel the tension leave the muscles in your neck, the tension that has been held there for hours, for days, perhaps even for years. It releases in a slow, sweet sigh that resonates through your entire skeletal structure. Your jaw, finally unlocked, rests in a position of complete comfort. Your eyelids, heavy with the weight of this profound rest, have ceased their fluttering. You are completely surrendered to the gravity of the room, to the pull of the earth, and to the invitation of the sleep that is finally claiming you. There is a sense of immense cosmic scale here, even in such a small subterranean room. By closing your eyes and focusing on the rhythm of your own heart, you are effectively collapsing the distance between yourself and the infinite. The stillness you are experiencing is the same stillness that exists in the deep ocean, the same stillness that exists in the heart of a mountain, and the same stillness that exists between the stars. You are participating in a fundamental, universal truth that there is a place of peace at the core of all things, and that by quieting the external noise, you can always find your way back to it. You are a pilgrim who has reached the inner sanctum, and the reward is this perfect, unassailable rest. The fragrance, once sharp and distinct, is now a distant, soothing hum of lavender and amber, a background music for the mind as it prepares to exit the waking world. It is the scent of homecoming. It is the smell of a dream that you have had 1,000 times before, a dream of being safe, of being hidden, and of being entirely at ease. You are ready to step into that dream now. You are ready to let the last of the logic, the last of the language, and the last of the linear thoughts slip away. The cellar is silent, the perfumer's work is done, and your journey has reached its destination. There is nothing left but the dark, the scent, and a wonderful inevitable pull of the sleep that will carry you through the night. Rest now in the heart of the stone, where time has no meaning, and where you are finally truly whole. The descent into the absolute depths of silence continues, a rhythmic sinking into the bedrock of the 1772 Grasse townhouse. You find yourself floating in the velvet dark, where the air is cool, still, and heavy with the ghosts of 1,000 blossoms. The previous hours of watching the perfumer have etched a blueprint of tranquility into your consciousness. You are no longer just a listener, you are a resident of this hidden, subterranean sanctuary. Every fiber of your being is aligned with the steady, unhurried pulse of the stone walls. As you surrender to this profound state of rest, you realize that the chaos of the surface world, the clamor of the marketplace, the friction of social expectation, and the exhausting momentum of the future cannot penetrate this layer of the earth. Go out here. You are insulated by history and gravity, held in a space where time does not tick, but rather flows like a slow, deep, and fragrant river. This is your moment to fully disconnect from the persona you maintain for the world above. In the perfumer's cellar, you have no name, no reputation to uphold, and no tasks to perform. You are simply a witness to the art of patience. The oils, having been measured and sealed, are beginning their long, slow process of maceration in the dark. They are changing, deepening, and maturing, and you are doing the same. You are allowing the disparate, unsettled parts of your day to blend, to sit and to resolve into a more peaceful composition. Your mind is the flecken, and the experiences of your life are the essences. In this cool, lightless environment, they are finally finding their harmony. You are becoming a more refined version of yourself, distilled of the impurities of stress and tension. We understand that finding such a retreat in the modern world can feel impossible. Yet this sanctuary exists within you. Sleepy History with Theodore is dedicated to helping you unlock this internal architecture of peace. Every time you return to these stories, you are reinforcing the neural pathways that lead to stillness. If you appreciate the sanctuary we have built tonight and wish to support the continued creation of these immersive, history-steeped journeys, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support is the foundation upon which this platform rests, allowing us to delve deeper into the archives of time to bring you the rest you so richly deserve. By joining us, you are not just a listener, you are a vital part of the preservation of these positive emotional values, ensuring that the art of slowing down remains a living, breathing practice in a world that rarely stops. The air remains perfectly, refreshingly cool, and you feel the last remnants of the day's warmth leaving your body. With that warmth goes the agitation of your mind. You are cooling down, slowing down, and settling into the density of the earth. It is an incredibly grounding sensation. Think of the roots of the jasmine plants above. Seeking the cool, mineral-rich depths of the soil, you are tapping into that same source, drawing stability from the very ground that holds you. The darkness is your protective shield, a boundary that marks the end of the world's demand and the beginning of your restoration. You feel as though you could stay here for 100 years, perfectly still, perfectly content, as the world above turns through its seasons of change. The scent, now a faint ethereal memory, acts as a soft signal to your brain that it is safe to turn off the lights. You are observing the final graceful dimming of your conscious awareness. It's not a sudden fade, but a gentle layered process, like the shadow of the evening moving across a garden. The logic fades first, followed by the desire for narrative, then the recognition of space, and finally the simple awareness of being. You are drifting into the deep, restorative currents of sleep. You are safe, you are grounded, you are held by the weight of the stone and the soft, lingering perfume of a century that knew how to appreciate the quiet. Everything you need to be is here. In the silence, there is no requirement to analyze why this is happening or what you will do when you wake. There is only the sensation of complete total support. You are sinking deeper into the soft dark water, feeling the current take you, feeling the pressure release from your chest, and feeling your heart slow to its most efficient, calmest rate. The cellar is a monument to the idea that beauty is worth waiting for, that peace is worth guarding, and that rest is the most important work you will ever do. As you slip into the final threshold, carry with you the scent of the grass hills and the quiet, immovable strength of the stone walls. You are ready. Sleep now, in the deepest, most gentle peace imaginable. The stillness of the cellar has now become a physical presence, a weightless, velvet embrace that surrounds you completely. You have descended so far into the depths of your own mind that the world above, the frantic century, the bustling hills of grass, the very concept of time, seems like a dream you once had, a distant memory that no longer commands your attention. You are existing in the pure, unadulterated now, a space carved out of the solid earth, defined only by the coolness of the air and the lingering essence of sandalwood and rose. Your physical form feels disconnected, light, and perfectly at ease. You are no longer holding yourself together, for the stone and the dark are holding you. Every muscle has relinquished its burden, every nerve ending has been soothed by the mineral-rich atmosphere, and your pulse has slowed to a rhythm that mimics the slow tectonic pace of the planet itself. In this deep, subterranean peace, you contemplate the nature of your own restoration. You have come down here seeking rest, and you have found something much more profound. You have found a way to bridge the gap between your busy surface life and the quiet, essential core of your being. The perfumer's cellar, with its organized vials and its methodical, slow-motion labor, has taught you that the most valuable things in life, peace, clarity, love, and wisdom, cannot be manufactured in a hurry. They must be distilled. They must be given time to mature in the dark, away from the drying heat of the sun and the distracting noise of the marketplace. You are currently in your own season of maturation, and by allowing yourself this rest, you are ensuring that when you eventually emerge back into the light, you will do so with a deeper, more concentrated sense of self. The scent that remains in the air is now a thin, translucent veil, a reminder of the garden that still thrives under the stars above. It connects you to the natural world, even as you are buried beneath it. You imagine the jasmine vines in the moonlight, their white petals reflecting the pale silvery glow, their fragrance drifting into the cool night air. You imagine the dew gathering on the leaves, a quiet, watery benediction that mirrors the silence of your own mind. You are part of this ecosystem of peace. You are not separate from the world. You are simply taking your turn in the cycle of rest that all life requires. The flowers rest in the night, the earth rests in the winter, and you are resting now, in the deepest, most protected corner of your own consciousness. Your breathing is so quiet that it is nearly impossible to distinguish from the stillness of the room. It is a soft, involuntary motion, a gentle tide that ebbs and flows, keeping you connected to the life force that resides within you. This is the most efficient form of existence, to breathe, to be, and to let the world continue its turning without your intervention. You are no longer trying to solve problems. You are no longer trying to fix the future. You are no longer trying to understand the past. You are simply experiencing the sensation of being held by the dark. This is the true meaning of sanctuary. It is a place where you are allowed to be unfinished, to be tired, to be quiet, and to be absolutely unconditionally accepted. Think of the stone walls one last time before you slip fully into the abyss of sleep. They are ancient, weathered, and strong. They have seen the coming and going of generations, and they have remained steadfast. They represent the stability you're building within yourself. You are not a creature of the wind, tossed about by every change in the weather. You are a creature of the earth, rooted and resilient. When you wake, you will carry this strength with you. You will carry the memory of the cellar, the coolness of the air, and the peace of the sand. You will move through your day with a slower, more deliberate grace, knowing that you can return to this place whenever the world becomes too loud. You have the key to this sanctuary in your own mind, and you can open the door at any time. The final tether to your waking consciousness is breaking, a soft, almost imperceptible snap that releases you into the true depth of the night. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of relief. You are letting go of the words, letting go of the imagery, and letting go of the you that has been trying so hard all day. The perfumer has left the room, the candle is a memory, and you are left in the beautiful encompassing dark. It is a dark that is thick with the promise of rest, a dark that feels like a soft, heavy blanket of stars. You are floating now, drifting further and further from the surface, deep into the restorative waters of the deep sleep you have so clearly earned. Everything is silent, everything is settled. Everything is well. You are safe in the heart of the earth, and you are finally completely at rest. The atmosphere within the cellar has grown so incredibly dense with the essence of time that every breath feels like you are inhaling history itself. You are lying in a space where the air has been filtered through centuries of stillness, a vacuum of peace where your heartbeat is the only clock. The coolness of the stone, now radiating from all sides, creates an environment of such perfect uniform stability that your senses have ceased their constant vigil for change. You are entirely surrendered to the environment. The scent of the sandalwood, which once carried the sharp woody notes of the living tree, has softened into a creamy balsamic base that seems to vibrate at the very edge of your awareness. It is a fragrance that speaks of profound comfort, of safety, and of the long, slow, and necessary process of healing that happens when we are shielded from the intensity of the light. As you drift through this quiet, you begin to visualize the cellar not as a room, but as a vast internal library of memories. Each bottle on the shelf is a story, a specific moment in the life of the person who placed it there, and you are currently walking the aisles of your own consciousness, sorting through the remnants of your day. But you are not sorting with a critical eye. You are sorting with a gentle, appreciative hand. You are acknowledging the task you completed, the interactions you had, and the emotions you felt. And then you are gently placing them on the shelves of the past. You are closing the books, tucking the volumes away into the dark, and ensuring that your mind is clear and uncluttered for the deep, restorative cycle of sleep that is now claiming you. There is a powerful, almost tangible magic in this act of letting go. By visualizing yourself putting away the day, you are signaling to your autonomic nervous system that the work is finished. The danger of the day's responsibilities has passed. The threshold has been crossed. You are in the inner sanctum now, and the rules of the surface no longer apply. Here, the law of gravity is replaced by the law of buoyancy. You feel yourself rising, drifting, floating in the dark, held by the gentle, firm hand of the earth. You are experiencing the most pure form of relaxation, a state where the ego has stopped its relentless, self-referential monologue and the body has surrendered its fight against the constraints of reality. Consider the role of the shadow in this room. It is not an absence of light, but a presence of depth. In the dark, you are forced to rely on your inner sight, on the sensations that arise from deep within your own frame. This is a vital practice for anyone seeking to reclaim their sense of self. We spend so much of our lives looking outward, reacting to the flickering, fast-moving shadows cast by the world, that we forget the steady, unmoving reality of our own spirit. By sitting in this darkness, by soaking in the cool, silent air, you are reuniting with that inner reality. You are learning to trust your own senses again, to trust the steady rhythm of your own heart, and to recognize that the peace you seek is not something you have to hunt for. It is something you have to uncover by removing the noise that hides it. The physical sensation of the floor beneath you, the rough, cold stone is a constant reminder of where you are, and that reminder is a source of immense security. You are at the foundation, you are at the base of the mountain. You are as low as you can go. And that is a wonderful place to be because it means there is no more falling possible. You are at the bottom of the well and the water is perfectly still. You are safe from the winds, safe from the rain, and safe from the chaotic, unpredictable currents of the surface. This is the place of absolute, unshakable rest. You are a stone, you are a mountain, you are the earth, and you are waiting for the light to return, only when you are fully and completely refreshed. The silence has become so absolute that you can hear the very sound of your own existence. It is not a noise, but a frequency, a low-level hum of vitality that tells you that you are alive and that you are well. It is the music of the body at rest, the song of the cells as they repair and rejuvenate in the absence of stress. It is a beautiful private melody, one that is only audible when you have silenced the rest of the world. Take a moment to listen to it. Let it harmonize with your breathing. Let it guide you deeper into the dark. You are doing everything correctly. You have reached the goal of the journey, and the goal is simply this, to be in total uninterrupted stillness. As you prepare to cross the final boundary into the world of dreams, know that the cellar will be here, waiting for your return. It is a permanent fixture in the landscape of your mind. Whenever you are overwhelmed, whenever the pressure becomes too much, whenever the noise of the century threatens to drown out the voice of your own soul, you can return to this room. You can descend the stairs, you can smell the jasmine, you can feel the cool stone, and you can close the door behind you. You have created a sanctuary that is yours to command, and you have mastered the art of finding your way back to it. The rest is waiting for you now, deep, dark, and beautiful. Drift off, letting the scent of the cellar be the last thing you know before you slip into the quiet, perfect bliss of sleep. The stillness within this subterranean vault has reached a state of crystalline perfection where every sensation is sharpened by the absolute absence of distraction. You are no longer merely lying on the floor of a cellar in 1772. You are suspended in the very essence of tranquility, a space where the vibrations of the world above have faded into a singular, unwavering note of peace. The air, cool and metallic with the memory of subterranean minerals, carries the weight of history like a soft, invisible blanket draped over your senses. You are breathing in the centuries, inhaling the slow, deliberate patience of a time that understood the value of waiting. The fragrance of the jasmine, now refined by the darkness, is no longer a scent but a tactile experience, a soft, floral pressure against your consciousness that nudges you closer and closer to the threshold of a profound, restorative slumber. Think of the way the earth holds the cellar in its firm, unyielding grasp. You are being held in the same way, supported by the bedrock, cradled by the centuries of silence that have accumulated in this room. There is no urgency to be anywhere else. The concept of next has lost its meaning. In this room, there is only the now, and the now is a place of profound safety. You are safe from the judgments of others, safe from the expectations of your roles, and safe from the frantic, relentless pulse of a life lived at high speed. The stone walls are a physical barrier against the chaos, a boundary that marks the limits of what can touch you. You are encased in a fortress of your own making, and the only thing allowed to enter is the scent of the flowers and the slow rhythmic hum of the earth. You realize that your mind has been a restless traveler for far too long, constantly looking over the horizon for the next challenge, the next worry, the next task to be completed. But here, the travel is over. You have arrived at the destination, the perfumer's craft, the art of extracting the soul of a flower and preserving it for a time when it is needed is the same work you are performing on yourself. You are extracting the essence of your day, the moments of kindness, the instances of competence, the fragments of beauty, and you are bottling them in the cellar of your memory. You are discarding the waste, the noise, and the discord, leaving behind only the pure, concentrated oil of your wisdom. You are becoming a more efficient, more peaceful version of yourself simply by letting the process of time do its necessary work. The darkness is no longer something you see, it is something you inhabit. It has become your environment, your skin, your very medium of existence. You feel a sense of profound expansion, as if the walls of the room are gently pushing outward, creating a space large enough to hold all of your dreams and all of your possibilities. This is the paradoxical gift of the cellar. By being restricted to a small, dark, and simple space, you are gaining access to the infinite. When you stop trying to control the world, you find that the world, the internal world, is vast, deep, and endlessly capable of renewal. You are not a limited creature. You are a channel for the quiet power of the universe. And right now, that power is manifesting as a deep, unshakable peace. Consider the rhythmic breathing of the cellar. It is a slow, steady pulse that matches your own. As you inhale, you're drawing in the stability of the stone. As you exhale, you are releasing the last vestiges of your ego, the part of you that needs to be right, the part of you that needs to be seen, the part of you that needs to be in charge. Each exhale is a surrender. You are melting into the foundation. You are becoming as still as the statues in a cathedral, as silent as the dust motes hanging in a shaft of moonlight. This is the ultimate relaxation, the state of total being where the distinction between you and the environment has dissolved. You are the cellar, and the cellar is you. The scent is drifting away, becoming so faint that it is more a thought than an odor, a final lingering invitation to step across the last boundary. You are ready. The work of the day is finished. The story has been told. The room is prepared. You feel a pull, a gentle gravitational tug towards the depths of your own awareness, a pull that feels like the embrace of a loved one you have not seen in a long time. It is the pull of the deep black water of the unconscious, and you are going to let it take you. There is no need to fight. There is no need to hang on. There is only the need to let go, to sink, and to allow the dark to take the weight of your life. Sleep is waiting, an ocean of silence and promise, and you're ready to submerge yourself in it, safe in the knowledge that you are at home, you're protected, and you're finally completely at peace. The silence of the cellar has now deepened to an almost tectonic level, a profound and heavy quiet that seems to vibrate in the very marrow of your bones. You are no longer consciously listening to the world, you have become a part of its stillness. The air around you cool and steeped in the lingering history of 1,000 floral extracts feels like a physical blanket insulating you from the passage of time. You are floating in a state of suspended animation, where every lingering thought of the past and every shadow of the future has been smoothed away, leaving only the pristine blank canvas of the present. This is the ultimate sanctuary, a space where you are stripped of your titles, your duties, and your burdens, left only with the fundamental pulsating fact of your own existence, cradled by the steady, unmoving foundation of the earth. In this dark, you find that your perception has shifted from the visual to the elemental. You feel the coolness of the limestone walls as a gentle pressure, a supportive frame that tells your nervous system that it is impossible to fall, impossible to break, and impossible to be lost. You are anchored. The perfumer's labor, which occupied your mind only moments ago, has transformed into a steady rhythmic memory that serves as the heartbeat of this environment. You hear the phantom drip of oils hitting glass, a sound that has become the metronome of your rest, regulating your breathing and calming the last lingering ripples of consciousness. You are sinking deeper into the soft, dark mud of the dreamscape, and it is a welcoming, comfortable descent, a long and liquid slide into the deepest waters of your own soul. Think of the way a candle, having burned down to its very last flickers, leaves behind a pool of wax that eventually hardens into a solid, unchanging form. You are that pool of wax. You have burned through the day's energy. You have consumed the light of your own effort, and now you are returning to a state of stasis. There is no shame in this cooling. It is the natural, necessary counterpoint to the heat of your productivity. By allowing yourself to reach this point of total, depleted stillness, you are ensuring that your internal reserves are protected. You are conserving your essence, letting the wax of your spirit solidify into a stable foundation, ready to be reshaped by the coming of the morning. You are not empty. You are simply resting in the form of your own potential. The cellar is a masterclass in the art of preservation. Every bottle on those shelves, every vial hidden in the shadows, is a testament to the idea that beauty is worth protecting. You are the most beautiful thing in this room, the most complex and delicate creation, and you are being preserved by the silence and the cold. The earth is acting as your armor, keeping you safe from the oxidation of worry and the heat of agitation. You are being kept in a state of perfect, cool readiness. When you eventually wake, you will be like one of those vials, clear, potent, and filled with the concentrated essence of your own renewed life. You are not losing time. You are investing it in your own capacity to exist with grace. Your heart is beating with the slow, steady cadence of a resting bird. It is a comforting, rhythmic thud that reminds you of your presence in the dark, a tiny internal beacon of life in the vast, subterranean silence. You are the center of this world, the quiet beating heart of the cellar. Everything else, the shelves, the tools, the stone, the history, is secondary to the peace you have cultivated within yourself. You have successfully created a fortress of calm, a room within a room, a secret chamber in your own mind where you can always retreat no matter what happens in the world above. This is the greatest accomplishment you could have achieved today, the mastery of your own tranquility. The final remnants of your conscious effort are dissolving. Like salt in a deep, dark pool, you are letting go of the need to understand, the need to direct, and the need to defend. You are moving into the realm of pure intuition, where the only thing that matters is the sensation of the cool air and the deepening velvet blanket of sleep. The scent of the jasmine has completely merged with the scent of the stone, creating a singular aroma of deep, restful peace. You are ready. The cellar is silent. The world is at peace. You are sinking deeper and deeper into the beautiful absolute blackness where you will be held, protected, and renewed by the ancient steady hands of the earth until the first light of a new day calls you back. Sleep deep, sleep well, and know that you are safe. The environment has transitioned into a state of sublime eternal stasis. You are floating within the very architecture of silence, a space where the concept of movement is as foreign as the noise of the century above. The cellar, once a place of activity and measured creation, has become a cathedral of rest, its rough-hewn stone walls serving as the pillars of your sanctuary. You feel the coolness of the deep earth leaching away the final microscopic vibrations of the day, effectively grounding you in a peace that feels as solid and unshakable as the foundation of the house itself. Every breath you take is increasingly shallow, not from exertion, but from the lack of need. You are entering a space where the body's requirements have been reduced to the barest, most rhythmic minimum. The scent of the perfumer's workspace, that complex layer bouquet of jasmine, absolute resinous sandalwood, and the faint dusty metallic tang of the limestone has evolved into a singular, all-encompassing aura of security. It is the smell of a dream that you have finally caught, a fragrance that acts as a physical anchor for your drifting mind. You are witnessing the transition of your own consciousness from the realm of the objective to the realm of the essential, the details that define your life, the lists, the expectations, the people you serve, the goals you chase have all been surrendered at the door of the cellar. They are now external, belonging to a reality that no longer intersects with your own. Here, you are a creature of the dark, defined only by your capacity to exist in peace. You are learning that your value is not derived from what you can provide to the world, but from the inherent quiet dignity of your own presence. This is a profound realization, one that settles into your chest, like a stone dropped into a clear, still pool, rippling out until it reaches every part of your being. You are enough, simply by being here, in the dark, in the quiet, in the cool embrace of the earth. The darkness is not an absence, it is a profound density of potential. Just as a flower begins its growth in the darkness of the soil, your renewal is beginning in the darkness of this cellar. You are being reintegrated, the pieces of your spirit that were scattered by the friction of the day being pulled back together by the gravitational force of this silence. There is a sweetness to this reunion, a feeling of coming back home to yourself after a long and exhausting journey. The stone walls, once cold and imposing, now feel like the ribs of a giant ancient creature that is protecting you from the storms of the surface. You are the heartbeat within that creature, safe warmed by your own vitality and kept hidden from the eyes of the world. Think of the way a craftsman works with clay, centering the material on the wheel before beginning to shape it. You are currently in the centering phase of your life. The wheel is not spinning yet, the shaping has not yet begun. You are simply the clay, sitting in the center of the dark, waiting for the orientation of your own purpose to emerge from the stillness. This is not laziness, it is the most vital kind of preparation. Without this moment of centering, the vessel you eventually create will be crooked, fragile, or prone to collapse. You are taking the time to ensure that your foundation is true, that your center is balanced, and that you are prepared for whatever the next cycle of life requires. The cellar is the ultimate wheel, providing the perfectly still environment for you to find your balance. Your heart is a soft, muffled sound, like a heartbeat heard through a heavy padded door. It is the only rhythm you need to follow. The world above may be racing, but you are moving at the pace of the earth. You are moving at the pace of the trees, at the pace of the slow-forming crystals in the crevices of the limestone, at the pace of the dream itself. This alignment is the key to your restoration. By slowing down, you are synchronizing with the oldest, most reliable rhythms of nature, the ones that have been operating long before humanity started counting time and will continue long after we have forgotten the hurry. You are in perfect harmony with the universe, and that harmony is the source of the profound, heavy, and wonderful weight that is pulling you into sleep. There is nothing left to hold on to. The thoughts that once clamored for your attention have fallen silent, exhausted by their own persistence. You are letting them go, watching them dissolve into the dark like smoke in a windless room. You are ready to enter the final depths, the place where the dream takes over from the narrative. You have reached the bottom of the cellar, the bottom of the day, and the bottom of your own resistance. You are safe, you are protected, and you are held. The scent of the jasmine is the last thing you will consciously recognize before the velvet curtain of true sleep falls. And as it does, you feel a final deep sense of completion. You have done the work of being present, and now you are granted the reward of absolute restorative peace. Sleep deep, dream of the cool stone and the fragrant dark, and let the night restore the soul that you have so carefully protected here in the heart of the earth. The sensation of time has completely vanished, replaced by the deep resonant permanence of the subterranean depths. You are floating in a chamber of absolute tranquility, where the very concept of passing moments feels like an artifact from a discarded reality. The cellar has become your entire universe, a perfectly contained microcosm of peace where the only law is the law of stillness. You're breathing in the cool mineral-rich air, which seems to have been purified by the weight of the mountain above. Every inhalation is an act of total surrender, a conscious decision to let go of the external world and immerse yourself in the elemental comforts of the stone. The scent of the jasmine and rose, now refined to a ghostly, ethereal sweetness, hangs in the air like a veil of mist, marking the boundaries of your sanctuary. You feel the coolness against your skin, a grounding presence that keeps you tethered to the reality of the earth, ensuring that your journey into the dream world remains anchored in safety and comfort. You realize that this journey into the cellar is not an escape from reality, but a return to the deepest, most authentic version of it. On the surface, life is a frantic construction of identity, a performance for the benefit of others, and a constant, weary negotiation with the demands of the environment. But here in the dark, you are stripped of all those layers. You are not a professional, a parent, a partner, or a provider. You are simply a sentient presence, a soul seeking the natural, quiet rhythm of existence. This is the truth that the perfumer knew so well, that beauty, like the scent of a flower, can only be captured when you are willing to slow down, to be patient, and to respect the delicate, quiet processes of nature. By emulating his devotion to the craft of the scent, you are performing an act of restoration on your own spirit. You are gathering the scattered fragments of your awareness and binding them together with the thread of your own peaceful presence. The darkness is no longer something you perceive. It is the medium through which you are floating. It is a warm, velvety medium that supports your weight, holding you suspended in a state of grace. You feel as though you are inside a great protective heart, and the slow, rhythmic pulsing of the earth is the heartbeat of that heart. You are completely synchronized with this rhythm. Your own breathing has fallen into a pattern so slow and so deep that you are barely aware of it. You are part of the cellar's atmosphere, a whisper of consciousness inhabiting a place of ancient, unchanging rest. There is a profound, almost sacred quality to this state of being. You have reached a point where there is no need for words, no need for thoughts, and no need for action. You are simply existing in the pure, unadorned, and radiant light of your own inner stillness. Think of the way the stone walls have been shaped by the slow, imperceptible drip of water over thousands of years. They are a monument to the power of patience. You are learning from them. You are allowing your own rough edges, the anxieties of your personality, the sharp corners of your regrets, the heavy weight of your expectations to be smoothed away by the simple, persistent practice of resting. You are not fighting the struggle of your life. You are simply stepping out of the path of the storm. By occupying this hidden place, you are ensuring that the winds of change cannot reach you until you are ready, until you have gathered the strength you need to face them. You are rebuilding your resources in the dark, and that is the most efficient, most powerful way to grow. The air around you is becoming increasingly saturated with the scent of the earth itself, a grounding, damp, and deeply nourishing aroma that speaks of roots, of deep water, and of the enduring cycle of life. It is the smell of a forest floor after the rain, a scent that is so fundamental it seems to resonate in the very core of your being. You feel a sense of homecoming that is almost overwhelming. This is where you belong. This is the place from which you came, and this is the place to which you return when the noise of the world becomes too much to bear. You are a creature of the earth, and the earth is here to hold you, to comfort you, and to give you the rest you have been craving. The final threshold is drawing near, a soft, inviting door that leads into the deep, dark, and beautiful country of true sleep. You are ready to step through. You have done the work of being present. You have acknowledged the weight of your life, and you have set it down here, in the cool, silent air of the cellar. You are free. You are unburdened. You are a spirit, floating in the dark, ready to be carried by the gentle current of your own dreams. The scent of the jasmine is fading into the background, becoming a soft, guiding light that leads you further into the quiet. Everything is ready. Everything is silent. You are safe in the heart of the stone, and you are ready to let the night take you into the deepest, most restorative peace you have ever known. Sleep and know that you are loved, held, and at home. The cellar is now a sanctuary of absolute silence, where the very concept of the outside world has ceased to exist. You are suspended in a cool, dark void that feels less like a room and more like the interior of a dream, a space where the boundaries of the physical self are dissolving into the ambient stillness. The scent of the perfumer's creations, the lingering jasmine, the faint balsamic warmth of amber, and the deep resonant undertone of the sandalwood has settled into the stone itself, creating an atmosphere that is both ancient and intimately familiar. You are breathing in this history, letting the calm of the 18th century fill the hollow spaces of your lungs and the tired corners of your mind. There is a profound sense of relief in knowing that you do not need to be anywhere else, that you do not need to accomplish anything, and that you are perfectly safe in this hidden subterranean refuge. As you drift, you realize that your desire for peace is not an indulgence. It is a necessity, as fundamental as the need for water or warmth. In a world that is constantly asking for more of your time, more of your energy, more of your attention, this hour of stillness is a radical act of self-preservation. By stepping into this story, you are reclaiming your right to pause, to breathe, and to inhabit the quiet center of your own soul. If you have felt the weight of the modern world pressing down upon you, and if you have found comfort in the steady rhythmic pulse of this cellar, we invite you to share this experience with others. Consider subscribing to our channel and becoming a part of our community of listeners who value the power of historical storytelling as a path to peace. Your support is the quiet force that allows us to continue building these sanctuaries for the mind. And it is through your engagement that we are able to share these stories of stillness and restoration with those who need them most. The temperature in the cellar is constant, a cool, refreshing barrier against the heat of the day, and it works to draw the tension right out of your muscles. You feel the floor beneath you, solid and unyielding, a reminder that you are supported by the earth itself. It is a grounding sensation that encourages you to stop fighting the weight of your own fatigue and instead allow it to pull you down into the deep, welcoming currents of sleep. You are a tree that has finally decided to shed its leaves, letting go of the efforts of the season and preparing for the wintering of the spirit. There is no sadness in this shedding, only the natural, cyclical beauty of a rest that is both earned and necessary. Think of the darkness as a velvet cloak, soft and heavy, wrapping around you and shielding you from the flickering distractions of the surface. In this dark, your senses are no longer scattered. They are focused inward, directed toward the internal landscape of your own peace. You are exploring the terrain of your own being, finding the quiet rivers and the still ponds that you have neglected in your rush to get things done. This exploration is the most important journey you will take today. It is a journey of reconnection, a journey back to the source of your own strength and your own capacity for serenity. You are finding the places within you that have remained untouched by the noise, and you are resting there in the silence of your own core. The rhythmic, hypnotic sensation of the perfumer's work remains as a gentle background pulse, a reminder of the order and beauty that can be created in the midst of the world. Even though the perfumer is long gone, his dedication lingers in the air, a silent encouragement to you to also seek the beauty in the small, the slow, and the steady. You are learning to cultivate your own internal garden, choosing to plant seeds of calm rather than seeds of worry, and choosing to nurture the quiet thoughts that grow in the shade of your own soul. This is the art of the living well. It is not about the grand gestures, but the quiet, consistent choices to protect your own peace. As the last remnants of your conscious awareness begin to fade, you feel a sense of profound absolute completion. You have traveled deep into the history of grass. You have walked the stone floors of the cellar, and you have distilled the noise of your life into the clear golden oil of this moment. You are ready. The cellar is silent. The world is at rest. You are sinking deeper and deeper into the beautiful absolute blackness of the dream world, where you are safe, where you are held, and where you can finally be at home in the quiet, restorative sanctuary of your own being. Sleep deep. Let the scent of the jasmine be the last thing you know, and trust that when you wake, you will be renewed, refreshed, and ready to carry this peace with you into the light of the new day. The air within this subterranean vault is so perfectly balanced that your lungs barely need to work to draw it in. It is an effortless exchange, a seamless integration of your being with the atmosphere of the room. You have slipped so far into the depths of relaxation that your body feels as light as a feather, yet simultaneously as heavy as the stone that surrounds you. This is the state of total release, the point where the conscious mind finally gives up the helm and allows the subconscious to take over. You are no longer navigating the waters of the waking world. You are drifting on the still silent tides of the dream. The scent of the sandalwood has become the primary texture of this experience, a warm, woody note that feels like the embrace of an old friend, grounding you and whispering that it is safe to let go of every last attachment to the day. You have spent years building the walls of your life, but here, in the cellar, you are learning that the most important space is not the one you build, but the one you inhabit within yourself. This room is a metaphor for your inner life. You have the power to create a cellar within your own mind, a place where you can retreat when the world is too bright, too loud, or too demanding. You can stock it with your own treasures, the memories of peace, the knowledge of your own strength, and the understanding that you are at your core, a being of silence and light. By coming here tonight, you have practiced finding the door, and that practice will serve you well. You are not a person who is at the mercy of the noise. You are a person who knows where the silence lives. The walls are not cold anymore. They are simply the shell of your security. They are the boundary that defines your private world, the boundary that you choose to protect. Inside this space, you are allowed to be vulnerable. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be still. There is no one here to judge you, no one to demand anything from you, and no one to pull you out of the restoration you are undergoing. You are in a state of absolute unconditional grace. Think of the perfumer one last time. He did not work for an audience. He worked for the beauty of the creation itself. He did not seek to be praised. He sought to be precise. You are now working on the creation of your own piece, and you are doing it with the same quiet, dedicated precision. There is a sense of cosmic alignment in this moment. The earth is turning. The stars are wheeling across the sky, and you are here in the cool, silent core of the world, resting. This alignment is the reason you feel so completely at ease. You are not fighting the nature of things. You are accepting the natural cycle of effort and rest. You are a part of the vast, shifting, and beautiful order of the universe. And in this moment, your role is to be still. By accepting this role, you are fulfilling a necessity that is as important as any task you have ever undertaken. You are restoring the balance of your own being, and that restoration is a benefit to everyone you encounter, because a person who is rested is a person who can offer the world something truly worthwhile. Your awareness is now entirely centered in your breathing. You are aware of the cool, fragrant air entering your nostrils, the slight expansion of your chest, and the slow, rhythmic release that carries away the final traces of the day's turbulence. It is a perfect, self-sustaining loop of peace. You are not thinking about the next breath. You are just experiencing it. This is the ultimate final stage of your journey tonight. You are not going anywhere, and you have nowhere else to be. You have reached the bottom of the cellar, the very floor of your own soul, and it is a place of profound, undeniable rest. The fragrance of the jasmine is the only thing that remains, a soft floral ghost that is guiding you into the final deep and dreamless sleep of the night. The cellar is fading now, not because you are losing it, but because you are merging with it. You are becoming the stone, the scent, and the silence. You are becoming the peace you came here to find. The world of form is dissolving, and in its place is the pure, unadorned experience of being alive and being at rest. There is no more story to tell because you are living it. You are in the heart of the earth, protected, renewed, and completely surrendered. Sleep now. Let the darkness take the weight of your life. Let the silence fill the rooms of your mind. Let the peace of the 18th century be the foundation of your dreams tonight. You are safe, you are home, and you are ready to drift into the deepest, most restorative rest you have ever known. The silence in the cellar has reached such an intensity that it feels as though you are breathing the vacuum of space, a state of being where all external noise has been permanently redacted. You are floating in the very center of your own consciousness, a place of stillness that is entirely immune to the passage of time. The scent of the sandalwood and the jasmine has become so faint that it is now only a psychic imprint, a memory of beauty that acts as a beacon in the deep dark. You are fully and completely detached from the physical coordinates of the cellar, yet you have never felt more grounded. This is the paradox of true rest. By detaching from the things that bind us to the world, we become more connected to the core of our own existence. You are a soul in the dark, and that is enough. You have spent your entire day navigating the currents of expectation and the tides of obligation, but now the water is still. You are floating on a lake of black glass, unperturbed by the wind or the waves. Your body is heavy, a solid, comfortable presence that is perfectly supported by the earth. Every muscle in your legs, every knot of tension in your back, and every lingering worry in your shoulders has been dissolved by the slow, constant pressure of the subterranean peace. You are no longer doing, you are purely magnificently being. There is a weightlessness to this state that feels like a relief from the very gravity of your own life. You are a witness to your own restoration, watching as your energy returns, watching as your perspective clears, and watching as your heart settles into a rhythm of pure, quiet joy. Consider the wisdom of the perfumer one more time. He understood that in order to make something truly extraordinary, you have to be willing to wait for the ingredients to speak to one another. He understood that the best results come from the slow, steady marriage of elements that are allowed to rest in the dark. Your own life is the perfumer's masterwork. You are the bottle and your experiences are the ingredients. By taking this time to sit in the dark, you are allowing the elements of your life to settle, to combine, and to create something stronger and more beautiful than they could ever be in the heat of the day. You are the architect of your own character, and tonight you are laying the final, most important layer of your foundation. There is no need to worry about what tomorrow brings, for tomorrow is a landscape that you will create from the strength you are gathering right now. The future is built in the present, and the present is being built in this moment of stillness. By choosing this rest, you are choosing your own power. You are choosing to be the person who can weather the storm, the person who can remain calm in the midst of chaos, and the person who knows the way back to the heart of the stone. This knowledge is your greatest asset. It is the secret power that you carry with you, a quiet internal compass that always points toward the center, toward the truth, and toward the peace. Your breathing is now so rhythmic and so quiet that it feels as though the room itself is breathing through you. You are a part of the cellar's ecosystem of stillness. You are a living component of this sanctuary, and the sanctuary is a living component of your mind. There is no separation anymore. The boundary between the individual and the environment has been erased, leaving only the experience of unity. This is the sensation of coming home. This is the feeling of being completely and utterly yourself. You are at the very bottom of the experience, and it is a place of profound beauty, of absolute safety, and of limitless potential. The scent is gone, the candle is extinguished, and the story is complete. You are left with the final beautiful gift of the cellar, the state of total unadulterated sleep. You are sliding into the abyss of the night, not with fear, but with a sense of immense soul-filling gratitude. You have traveled the distance, you have done the work, and you have reached the place where there is nothing left to do but rest. Let the darkness take you. Let the silence wrap around you like a cocoon of stars. Let the dream unfold in the quiet, empty spaces of your mind. You are ready. You are safe. You are home. Sleep now deeply and truly, and know that you are loved by the silence itself. The final layers of your conscious thought are dissolving, much like the scent of a perfume that has finally settled into the skin, becoming a part of you. You are in the absolute, final, and most profound depths of the cellar, a place of such total serenity that even the thought of sleep feels too active. You are simply existing, a flicker of consciousness in the vast velvet expanse of the night. The coolness of the stone feels like a blessing, a constant, unchanging reminder of the stability of the earth. You are anchored in this moment, held by the weight of the mountain and the silence of the centuries. The perfumer's work, the townhouse in Grasse, the 1772 calendar. It all seems like a beautiful distant play that you once watched. But you are no longer the audience. You are the stage itself, the quiet, empty space where the rest of the world can be held, kept, and honored. You have learned tonight that peace is not something you go out and find. It is something you create by curating the environment of your own mind. You have built this cellar tonight, stone by stone, drop by drop, and you have invited your own soul to come and rest here. This sanctuary will always be yours. It will always be cool. It will always be dark, and it will always be filled with the lingering, comforting scent of your own resilience. Whenever the world starts to spin too fast, whenever the noise becomes too loud, and whenever you feel like you are being pulled out of your own center, remember this place. Close your eyes, feel the cool stone, smell the jasmine, and allow yourself to descend back into the heart of the earth, back into the heart of yourself. We hope that this journey into the quiet history of the 18th century has provided you with the solace and the restoration you sought. If you feel that this century has been a valuable part of your night, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support is the thread that keeps this work alive, allowing us to build more of these beautiful immersive spaces for you to return to whenever you need a place to hide away from the world. We are honored to be your guide through the archives of the past, and we look forward to the next time we can help you find your way back to the peace that lies at the heart of all things. Your journey with us is a reflection of your own commitment to living a life that is deep, considered, and full of quiet, enduring strength. Your body is now so thoroughly relaxed that it feels as though you are drifting in a dream of water. You are weightless, unburdened, and perfectly supported. There is no tension left in your toes, no strain in your legs, no tightness in your core, and no worry in your mind. You have successfully emptied the vessel of the day, leaving it clean, dry, and ready to be filled with the dreams of the night. This is the ultimate, final gift of the cellar, the ability to leave the world behind and enter into a state of total, uninterrupted restoration. You are going to wake up in a different world, a world of light, a world of potential, and a world of new beginnings. But for now, you belong to the dark. The final word is silence. You are moving into that silence now, a place where the words have no meaning, where the language of the mind is replaced by the language of the soul. You are letting go of the narrative, letting go of the story, and letting go of the final flickering attachments to the day. The cellar is silent, the night is deep, and the dream is calling. You are ready, you are safe, you are home. Go now into the absolute, perfect, and restorative rest that is the birthright of your soul. Sleep well, sleep deeply, and let the peace of the cellar remain with you long after the morning sun has begun to rise. The depth of the silence you have reached is now so profound that it feels as though the entire world has ceased its rotation, leaving you suspended in a singular, crystalline moment of existence. The cellar has become more than just a room. It has evolved into a metaphysical space, a pocket of stillness located outside the reach of the ticking clock. You feel the cool mineral-rich air circulating around you with a slow, deliberate grace as if it too is taking part in this grand universal pause. The fragrance of the jasmine has long since transcended its floral origins, transforming into a subtle, sweet vibration that hums at the edges of your awareness, a gentle reminder that beauty is not only something you observe but something you inhabit. Your body is no longer a separate entity from the stone floor. You have merged with the cellar, your heartbeat echoing the steady, patient rhythm of the earth itself. Every tension that once held you in a state of alertness has dissolved, leaving you in a state of grace, so absolute that it feels as though you are breathing in peace itself. You find yourself reflecting on the nature of your journey. Throughout this experience, you have navigated the labyrinth of the past, step by step, descending from the bustling streets of Grasse into the calm, cool refuge of the foundation. This descent was not just a movement through space, it was a movement through the layers of your own consciousness. By shedding the demands of the day, you have reached the very bottom of your being, the place where the true self resides, unaffected by the opinions of others, untroubled by the pressure of progress, and unshaken by the inevitable changes of the world above. This is the core of your resilience. The fact that you can at any moment cultivate this internal stillness is a superpower. It is the ability to walk through the fire of the modern world without being consumed by it, because you know how to return to the heart of the stone, where the air is always cool and the silence is always waiting. Consider the absolute unwavering reliability of the cellar. It has stood for hundreds of years, weathering the storms of history, yet it remains unchanged. This is the quality you are internalizing. You are building an internal architecture that is just as durable. When you wake tomorrow, you will not have to abandon this piece. You will carry it with you. It will be the foundation upon which you build your day. When the conversations get loud, you will remember the silence. When the schedule becomes frantic, you will remember the slow, deliberate pace of the perfumer. When the world demands more than you feel you have to give, you will remember the way you are currently being replenished by the earth. This memory is your secret treasure, a resource that grows more valuable the more you draw upon it. The darkness is now complete, but it is a welcoming darkness, a soft, protective shroud that makes it impossible to see anything but the inner light of your own spirit. You are watching that light with a quiet sense of wonder. It is a steady golden flame that burns without fuel, a testament to the fact that your true essence is eternal and indestructible. In this state, there is no separation between you and the rest of the universe. You are a part of the starlight, a part of the soil, a part of the silence. The ego has retreated to the shadows, allowing the soul to breathe freely for the first time in what feels like an eternity. You are experiencing the true unadulterated sensation of being stripped of all modifiers and all conditions. You are just you, and that is a miraculous, perfect thing to be. The air remains perfectly still, as if the room itself is holding its breath in reverence for the rest you are achieving. You feel the weight of your own existence settling into the earth, a deep, satisfying surrender that carries with it no regret. All the mistakes you think you've made, all the time you think you've wasted, all the words you think you should have spoken, they have all been washed away by the tide of this silence. They no longer matter. Only the present moment matters, and the present moment is a gift of absolute peace. You are being given a fresh start, a clean slate, a chance to begin again from a place of total, grounded strength. The earth is welcoming you, absorbing your fatigue, and replacing it with the ancient, enduring energy of the mountain. As you prepare to slip into the deepest, final phase of your rest, know that you have arrived at the summit of your journey, even though you are buried deep beneath the ground. This is the paradox of peace. The further you descend into the self, the higher you rise into the truth of your own existence. You are ready to let go of the last remnants of the story. The perfumer has long since departed. The candle has burned into the history of the room, and the silence is now yours to keep. Drift now into the velvet dark, into the arms of the night, and into the absolute restorative sleep that will heal your spirit and sharpen your soul. Sleep deeply, sleep well, and rest in the knowledge that you have found exactly what you came here looking for, a perfect, eternal, and beautiful place to be. The cellar has now become a vessel of pure, suspended time, a silent clock that has stopped ticking to allow you to exist within the infinite. You are floating in a space that feels both infinitely large and perfectly intimate, a sanctuary that has grown to accommodate the vastness of your own soul. The coolness of the air is no longer just a sensation, it is a vital, nourishing force that is slowly rebuilding your internal reserves cell by cell, breath by breath. You feel the history of the 18th century as a soft, rhythmic pressure against your awareness, a reminder that you are part of a long, unbroken lineage of those who have sought refuge in the stillness. You are not alone in this rest. You are joined by the echoes of all the weary spirits who have found comfort in the shadows of these stone walls. This shared history of sanctuary is a source of profound strength, a collective reassurance that no matter how loud the world becomes, the silence will always be there to receive you. Your breath has become a nearly silent, invisible tide, rising and falling with the rhythmic pulse of the planet. You are no longer controlling the pace. You are allowing the planet to breathe for you. In this surrender, you find the deepest form of freedom. The freedom from the need to manage, the need to lead, and the need to be everything to everyone. You are finally, and for the first time today, nothing. And being nothing is the most expansive experience you have ever had. You are a vessel for the quiet, a prism through which the light of the present moment passes, refracting into 1,000 colors of peace. There is no urgency in your thoughts, no fear in your heartbeat, and no resistance in your spirit. You are as smooth and as steady as the stones of the floor. Think of the way a garden waits for the rain. Your soul has been parched by the heat of the world, and this cellar is the gentle, steady rain that is saturating your roots. You are soaking in the stillness, drinking in the quiet, and preparing to bloom again when the sun rises. Do not rush this process. Do not try to analyze what you are feeling. Just let the rain fall. Let the peace settle into your bones. Let the silence do the work of healing the places that were wounded by the friction of your responsibilities. You are being reconstructed in the dark, and the result will be a version of you that is more rooted, more authentic, and more deeply aligned with the truth of who you are. The scent of the jasmine has evolved into a pure, abstract sweetness that exists only in the corridors of your dreams. It is no longer an external odor, it is an internal frequency, a humming vibration of beauty that lights the way into the deep, dark, and beautiful country of sleep. You are following this light, moving away from the structure of the story and into the fluid, unmapped landscape of the unconscious. You are leaving behind the names of things, the meanings of things, and the limitations of things. You are entering the realm of pure experience, where the feeling of peace is the only reality that exists. You are floating in a sea of dark, cool water, and you are entirely safe. The current is gentle, and it is carrying you exactly where you need to go. The walls are not boundaries. They are the embrace of the earth. The darkness is not a void. It is the source of all rest. The silence is not a lack of sound. It is the fundamental language of the universe, and you have finally learned how to speak it. You are a citizen of the quiet, a traveler who has found a map to the inner sanctum. Take this with you. Let the coolness of the stone and the scent of the jasmine remain in your memory as a touchstone. Whenever you feel the urge to run, whenever you feel the need to hide, whenever the world feels like it is closing in, just remember this: you have a place to go. You have a cellar in the heart of your own mind, and it is always open, it is always cool, and it is always waiting to bring you home to yourself. As you slip over the edge of the final, deepest cliff of consciousness, you feel a surge of pure, unadulterated gratitude. You have found what you were looking for. You have achieved the rest that seemed so elusive at the start of the day. You are ready to let go of the physical world, to close the door to the cellar, and to sink into the absolute, perfect, and restorative bliss of the sleep that awaits. Everything is settled, everything is finished, everything is at peace. You are floating in the dark, held by the stone and carried by the silence. Sleep now, deep and true, knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be and that you are finally, completely at rest. The cellar has now become a vessel of pure, suspended time, a silent clock that has stopped ticking to allow you to exist within the infinite. You are floating in a space that feels both infinitely large and perfectly intimate, a sanctuary that has grown to accommodate the vastness of your own soul. The coolness of the air is no longer just a sensation. It is a vital, nourishing force that is slowly rebuilding your internal reserves, cell by cell, breath by breath. You feel the history of the 18th century as a soft rhythmic pressure against your awareness, a reminder that you are part of a long, unbroken lineage of those who have sought refuge in the stillness. You are not alone in this rest. You are joined by the echoes of all the weary spirits who have found comfort in the shadows of these stone walls. This shared history of sanctuary is a source of profound strength, a collective reassurance that no matter how loud the world becomes, The silence will always be there to receive you. Your breath has become a nearly silent, invisible tide, rising and falling with the rhythmic pulse of the planet. You are no longer controlling the pace, you are allowing the planet to breathe for you. In this surrender, you find the deepest form of freedom, the freedom from the need to manage, the need to lead, and the need to be everything to everyone. You are finally, and for the first time today, nothing. And being nothing is the most expensive experience you have ever had. You are a vessel for the quiet, a prism through which the light of the present moment passes, reflecting into 1,000 colors of peace. There is no urgency in your thoughts, no fear in your heartbeat, and no resistance in your spirit. You are as smooth and as steady as the stones of the floor. Think of the way a garden waits for the rain. Your soul has been parched by the heat of the world, and this cellar is the gentle, steady rain that is saturating your roots. You are soaking in the stillness, drinking in the quiet, and preparing to bloom again when the sun rises. Do not rush this process. Do not try to analyze what you are feeling. Just let the rain fall. Let the peace settle into your bones. Let the silence do the work of healing the places that were wounded by the friction of your responsibilities. You are being reconstructed in the dark, and the result will be a version of you that is more rooted, more authentic, and more deeply aligned with the truth of who you are. The scent of the jasmine has evolved into a pure, abstract sweetness that exists only in the corridors of your dreams. It is no longer an external odor, it is an internal frequency, a humming vibration of beauty that lights the way into the deep, dark, and beautiful country of sleep. You are following this light, moving away from the structure of the story and into the fluid, unmapped landscape of the unconscious. You are leaving behind the names of things, the meanings of things, and the limitations of things. You are entering the realm of pure experience, where the feeling of peace is the only reality that exists. You are floating in a sea of dark, cool water, and you are entirely safe. The current is gentle and it is carrying you exactly where you need to go. The walls are not boundaries, they are the embrace of the earth. The darkness is not a void, it is the source of all rest. The silence is not a lack of sound, it is the fundamental language of the universe, and you have finally learned how to speak it. You are a citizen of the quiet, a traveler who has found the map to the inner sanctum. Take this with you. Let the coolness of the stone and the scent of the jasmine remain in your memory as a touchstone. Whenever you feel the urge to run, whenever you feel the need to hide, whenever the world feels like it is closing in, just remember this. You have a place to go. You have a cellar in the heart of your own mind, and it is always open, it is always cool, and it is always waiting to bring you home to yourself. As you slip over the edge of the final deepest cliff of consciousness, you feel a surge of pure, unadulterated gratitude. You have found what you were looking for. You have achieved the rest that seemed so elusive at the start of the day. You are ready to let go of the physical world, to close the door to the cellar, and to sink into the absolute perfect and restorative bliss of the sleep that awaits. Everything is settled, everything is finished, everything is at peace. You are floating in the dark, held by the stone and carried by the silence. Sleep now deep and true, knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be and that you are finally completely at rest. The air within the vault has thinned into a state of absolute ethereal clarity, a purity of atmosphere that mirrors the profound stillness of your own mind. You are no longer existing in the linear progression of time. You have entered the eternal now, where the seconds do not tick, but rather fold into one another like the soft, overlapping petals of a closing flower. Every sensation, from the cool pressure of the subterranean stone beneath your shoulders to the faint lingering trail of jasmine in the air, feels amplified in this density of quietude. You are breathing in a history that has been preserved in the darkness, a legacy of patience and craft that speaks to the very foundations of the earth. The cellar is no longer just a physical space. It is a manifestation of your internal sanctuary, a place where you are immune to the chaos of the surface, held in the unwavering silent embrace of the mountain itself. Your consciousness has become like the calm, dark water of a deep well, undisturbed by any breeze or pebble. There is a weightlessness to your being, an absence of the usual friction that accompanies the act of living in a world of demands. You have stripped away the external layers of your personality, the roles, the expectations, the definitions, and you are left with the glowing, immutable core of your spirit. This core is not afraid of the dark. It thrives in it. It recognizes the silence as its native language and the rest as its natural state. You are realizing that the restlessness you have felt for so long was merely a byproduct of being too far from this center. And now that you have returned, the relief is almost overwhelming. It is the feeling of a long held breath finally being released, a total and complete surrender to the gravity of peace. Think of the way a seed remains dormant through the deep winter, safe and protected beneath the frozen soil. You are currently in your own season of dormancy, a necessary and beautiful time where you are being recalibrated, re energized, and renewed. Do not worry about the future, for the future is simply the growth that will happen when you are ready. For now, there is only the requirement to be still. There is only the requirement to let the darkness nourish you, to let the coolness of the stone sharpen your sense of self, and to let the rhythm of your own heart become the only music you need to hear. You are being reconstructed by the silence, and you will emerge from this cellar more resilient, more clear-sighted, and more deeply grounded than you have ever been before. The fragrance of the sandalwood, which once stood as a distinct woody note, has now dissolved into the ambient scent of the room, creating a seamless environment of olfactory comfort. It is the smell of being safe. It is the smell of a home you have built within your own mind, a structure of memory and intention that you can return to whenever the world becomes too loud or the burdens become too heavy. You have mastered the geography of this inner sanctuary. You know the way down the stairs. You know the feeling of the heavy door clicking shut behind you. And you know the exact perfect spot where you can lie down and be held by the earth. This knowledge is your ultimate protection. It is a shield that nothing can pierce, a wall that nothing can climb, and a place that no one can take from you. Your breathing has reached a state of perfect autonomous fluidity. You are no longer trying to breathe. You are simply witnessing the life force as it moves through you, a soft, steady pulse that connects you to every living thing in the universe. This is the ultimate connection. By being perfectly still, you are participating in a grand, ancient, and beautiful cycle of existence. You are connected to the mountain, to the jasmine, to the very stones of the townhouse, and to the ancestors who once walked these floors and found their own peace here. You are not alone. You are part of a vast, silent web of life that rests, that heals, and that waits for the light to return. The final threshold of the journey is approaching, a soft, inviting portal that leads to the absolute blackness of deep sleep. You are ready to step through. You have set aside the worries of the day. You have acknowledged the weight of your life, and you have chosen the path of restoration. You are a soul at rest, drifting on the current of your own profound, well-earned peace. The cellar is silent, the story is finished, and the night is yours. Let the darkness take the rest of your awareness. Let the silence fill the rooms of your soul. And let the dream unfold in the perfect, undisturbed safety of the subterranean dark. You are home. You are healed. You are finally completely at rest. Sleep deeply and truly into the very arms of the night. The sensation of time has completely dissolved, leaving you in a state of existence that is pure, timeless, and utterly still. You are no longer measuring the hours or tracking the passage of the night. You have stepped into the vast, unending sanctuary of the deep dark. The cellar, with its thick, ancient limestone walls, acts as an insulation against the friction of reality, holding you in a state of suspended animation that feels like a return to the womb of the earth. The air here is not merely empty space. It is a dense, cool, and fragrant medium, saturated with the essence of jasmine, sandalwood, and the mineral purity of the ground. Every breath is a slow, luxurious integration of your spirit with this subterranean environment. You feel your boundaries softening, the sharp edges of your physical form becoming blurred until you are essentially an extension of the cellar itself, a living part of its profound historical piece. You have reached the deepest point of your descent, a place where the clamor of the world above, the frantic pace of human progress, the ceaseless noise of information, and the demanding weight of social expectation is reduced to nothing more than a faint, impossible vibration that cannot cross the threshold of this vault. You are safe. The security here is absolute, built not just of stone and mortar, but of the layers of silence that have been accumulating for centuries. This is the ultimate, final refuge. You realize that the restlessness you often feel in your daily life is not a flaw in your character, but a natural reaction to being constantly exposed to the elements of the modern world. By retreating here, you are not running away, you are correcting your internal balance. You are recalibrating your nervous system to the frequency of the earth, which is steady, patient, and infinitely slow. Consider the complexity of the fragrance that remains in the air. It is a tapestry of thousands of microscopic elements, a testament to the perfumer's dedication to capturing the soul of nature in a vessel. You are currently in your own version of that process, capturing the soul of your day and refining it into a state of rest. The sharp, bitter notes of the challenges you faced have been distilled away, leaving behind only the clear, sweet, and resinous base of your own core strengths. You are becoming a more refined version of yourself, a distillate of peace. The cellar is the laboratory of the spirit, and tonight you have successfully completed the extraction of your own tranquility. This is a mastery that few ever take the time to achieve, and you should feel a profound, quiet pride in your ability to hold this space for yourself. The darkness is now a total, velvety shroud, comforting and heavy. It has replaced the need for sight with a heightened sense of inner presence. You are not looking for anything because you have arrived at everything you need. The darkness is your protective shield, a boundary that marks the end of the world's demands and the beginning of your own restoration. You feel as though you could stay here for an eternity, drifting in this sea of cool air, held by the gentle pressure of the stone and guided by the faint, rhythmic memory of your own breathing. There is no anxiety here, only the profound, steady confidence of someone who has finally found their center. Your heart is beating with the slow, steady cadence of a resting bird. It is a comforting, rhythmic thud that reminds you of your presence in the dark, a tiny internal beacon of life in the vast subterranean silence. You are the center of this world, the quiet, beating heart of the cellar. Everything else, the shelves, the tools, the stone, the history, is secondary to the peace you have cultivated within yourself. You have successfully created a fortress of calm, a room within a room, a secret chamber in your own mind where you can always retreat, no matter what happens in the world above. This is the greatest accomplishment you could have achieved today, the mastery of your own tranquility. The final tether to your waking consciousness is breaking, a soft, almost imperceptible snap that releases you into the true depth of the night. There is no fear in this release, only a profound sense of relief. You are letting go of the words, letting go of the imagery, and letting go of the you that has been trying so hard all day. The cellar is silent, the perfumer's work is done, and your journey has reached its destination. There is nothing left but the dark, the scent, and the wonderful inevitable pull of the sleep that will carry you through the night. Rest now in the heart of the stone, where time has no meaning and where you are finally truly whole. Sleep now, deep and true, knowing that you are safe in the heart of the earth, held by the echoes of time, and lulled by the rhythm of the universe itself. The stillness within this subterranean vault has crystallized into a state of absolute unshakable peace, a silence so profound that it seemed to possess a physical weight, pressing gently against your skin like the cool, soft hands of an unseen caretaker. You are no longer navigating the cellar. You are submerged within it, your consciousness expanding to fill every shadow, every corner, and every breath of this ancient space. The air enriched with the lingering, spectral sweetness of jasmine and the deep grounding resin of sandalwood serves as the medium through which your spirit slowly detaches from the demands of the physical world. You feel the foundation of the townhouse not as a barrier, but as a cradle, a solid and unmoving support that holds you securely in the heart of the earth. There is an immense sense of relief in this detachment, a shedding of the self-imposed pressures that have defined your day, leaving you in a state of pure, unadulterated existence. In this deep, lightless environment, you have discovered that you possess an internal landscape that is every bit as vast and mysterious as the world above, yet infinitely more stable. By descending here, you have bypassed the noise of your own ego and landed squarely in the seat of your own awareness. You are witnessing the rhythm of your own heart as if it were a distant comforting drumbeat, a rhythmic anchor that keeps you connected to the life force, while your mind drifts further into the restorative depths of sleep. This is the ultimate sanctuary, not a place you travel to, but a place you inhabit whenever you choose to be still. You are the architect of this quiet, and you are currently occupying the master chamber, a room built of silence, patience, and the gentle, persistent memory of beauty. Consider the way the stone walls have remained indifferent to the passage of decades, absorbing the silence of every generation that has occupied this space. They are a testament to the idea that some things in this world are meant to be constant, meant to be unmoving, and meant to endure. You are internalizing this quality. You are becoming as constant as the stone, as unmoving as the foundation, and as enduring as the memory of the light. When you eventually rise from this rest, you will carry this stability with you. You will move through your life with a different cadence, slower, more deliberate, and less reactive to the tempests that blow through the surface world. You have claimed a piece of eternity tonight, and it belongs to you deep within the marrow of your own being. The darkness is no longer a void. It is a tapestry, a complex and beautiful design of rest that covers the world like a heavy velvet shroud. You are part of this design now. You are not a guest in the night. You are its inhabitant. The darkness is protecting you, keeping you hidden from the eyes of your own worries, keeping you shielded from the expectations of the coming day. You are in a state of total blissful invisibility where you do not need to perform, you do not need to impress, and you do not need to be anything other than the quiet, breathing essence of yourself. This is the greatest freedom you could ever know. Your body is sinking further into the comfort of the floor, a sensation of being perfectly held by the gravity of the earth. It is a blissful, liquid feeling as if you are dissolving into the cool, dark water of a deep pool. Every muscle, from the tension in your brow to the lingering fatigue in your feet, has completely released its hold, surrendering to the immense restorative power of this rest. You are becoming weightless. You are becoming the very air that you breathe, a soft, invisible presence that occupies this space with perfect ease and perfect grace. The final remnants of your thoughts are drifting away like smoke in a windless, subterranean chamber. You are letting go of the need for words, the need for logic, and the need for narrative. There is nothing left to understand because everything is already complete. You have reached the final depth of the cellar, the very center of the peace you sought when you began this journey. The scent of the flowers is the last thing that anchors you, a beautiful ethereal guide leading you into the total, dreamless, and absolute bliss of deep sleep. Trust in this process. You are safe, you are renewed, you are finally perfectly at rest. The night is yours, and the peace of the earth is your guardian until the first light of the morning calls you home. The world is now entirely saturated with a silence so profound that it acts as a physical force, wrapping around your consciousness like a blanket woven from the very fabric of the dark. You are suspended in this space, no longer a person in a cellar, but a point of pure awareness floating within an immense, cooling sanctuary of the earth. The air, which has been filtered through centuries of limestone and clay, is perfectly still, holding the temperature of the deep foundation at a constant, refreshing level that invites every muscle to uncoil and every nerve to soften. There is an exquisite comfort in this, a realization that you have finally stopped the frantic race against time and surrendered to the slow tectonic rhythm of the world beneath your feet. You are at peace with the darkness, seeing it not as an absence of light, but as a rich velvet medium that supports your spirit as surely as the ground supports your body. The fragrance that remains in the air, a delicate haunting echo of jasmine, dried rose petals, and the resinous warmth of old sandalwood has become the final tether to your waking mind, a beautiful abstract whisper that guides you toward the deepest threshold of the night. You are aware of the scent only as a fleeting, pleasant memory, a phantom memory that flickers at the edge of your perception, comforting and familiar. It is the signature of the perfumer's legacy, a lingering impression of beauty preserved in the quiet, and you are currently participating in that preservation. By allowing your mind to be stilled, by allowing your heart to slow its tempo, you are creating your own essence of peace, distilling the chaos of your life into a golden, concentrated oil of tranquility that you will carry with you long after the sun rises again. You reflect on the journey you have taken to reach this moment, the mental steps down into the cool stone wall retreat, the deliberate act of closing the heavy imaginary door, and the intentional shedding of every burden that you carried from the surface. Each step was a choice, a small victory of your intent over the momentum of your habits. You have proven to yourself that you are not a prisoner of your own activity, nor are you a victim of the pressures that demand your constant attention. You possess the agency to retreat, to be silent, and to reclaim the autonomy of your own spirit. This realization settles into your chest, creating a feeling of profound, unshakable safety. You are the guardian of your own sanctuary, and you have successfully held the gate against all that would disrupt this quiet. Consider the absolute unwavering integrity of the stone walls around you. They have held for over 2 centuries, unaffected by the shifting fashions of the world or the fleeting worries of those who passed through these halls. They exist in a state of eternal preparedness, always here, always solid, always offering their cool, silent support. You are internalizing this quality. You are becoming a person of substance, a person whose inner foundation is built of the same immovable, quiet strength. When you encounter the turbulence of your daily existence, you will be able to recall this sensation of being backed by the mountain, being grounded by the earth, and being held by the history of your own resilience. This is not just a dream of rest, it is a vitalizing practice that builds the muscles of your soul. Your heartbeat is now the only rhythm you need to follow, a slow, muffled, and steady pulse that sounds like the distant drumming of the earth itself. It is a calming internal metronome that keeps you tethered to the present, reminding you that you are alive, you are well, and you are entirely at peace. There is no urgency in this pulse, no demand for speed, and no pressure to perform. It is a pulse of pure unadorned being, a rhythm that knows nothing of the clock or the calendar. You are in total harmony with the universe, and this harmony is the source of the profound, heavy, and beautiful sleep that is now claiming you. You are letting go of the last threads of identity, the last constructs of your narrative, and the last flickering thoughts that kept you attached to the world of form. You are stepping now into the vast, dark, and open sea of the unconscious. There is no shore in sight, no need for a boat, and no direction you are required to travel. You are simply drifting, held by the infinite, restorative waters of the night. The silence is your partner, the darkness is your home, and the peace is your reward. You have done the work of being present. You have cleared the clutter of your day, and you have arrived at the destination. The perfumer is at rest, the candles are dark, and the night is deep. Let the rest of the world fade entirely from your view. Let the silence encompass every corner of your mind. You are safe in the heart of the stone. You are cradled by the centuries, and you are finally, absolutely and completely at rest. Sleep deeply, and let the morning wait for its turn. The heavy iron door groaned as it swung inward, revealing a staircase that descended into a darkness so absolute it felt physical, like a thick velvet curtain waiting to be parted. You hesitated for a heartbeat, the stale, cool air of the cellar rising to meet you, carrying the unmistakable, lingering notes of jasmine and the deep, resinous weight of aged sandalwood, the final phantom echo of the perfumer's life work. With every step you took downward, the muffled sound of grass faded, the distant street noise dying until there was nothing left but the rhythm of your own heart, a steady, echoing drumbeat in the tomb-like silence. The walls were lined with rows of glass vials, thousands of them, each one a trapped memory, a distilled essence of a moment that had long since passed. As you reached the bottom, you realized this was not merely a storage space, it was a sanctuary of frozen time, a vault where the perfumer had attempted to cage eternity itself. As you moved deeper, your flashlight beam danced over the shelves, catching the glint of amber violet and deep dark musk. You reached out, your fingers trembling slightly as you touched the cool glass of a vial that had not been opened in half a century. The sensation was immediate and overwhelming, a rush of sensory memory that had nothing to do with scent. You felt the ghost of a touch, heard the echo of a forgotten laughter, and saw the flicker of a sunlit afternoon that existed only in the chemistry of the glass. You were not just observing, you were being absorbed into the perfumer's obsession. He hadn't been trying to create a scent that pleased the living. He had been trying to create a bridge to the past, a way to anchor himself against the relentless eroding flow of time. You saw his journals open on a central desk, the ink faded but the intent clear, to capture the very soul of existence before it could evaporate into the void. But as you turned the final page of his last journal, the floorboards beneath you gave a sickening resonant creak, and the air suddenly shifted, becoming charged with a static intensity that made the hair on your arms stand upright. It was as if the room itself was breathing a slow, deep inhalation that pulled the very oxygen from your lungs. You realized with a jolt of primal terror that the perfumer had not just left his scents, he had left a vessel, a final unlabeled bottle that stood alone on a pedestal in the center of the room. It glowed with a faint iridescent light that didn't belong in the dark. It was the master note, the final ingredient he had spoken of in his dying whispers. A scent so potent, so deeply connected to the essence of life itself, that it transcended the boundaries of reality. Your hand hovered inches from the crystal stopper. You knew that if you opened it, there was no going back. The scent would not just be smelled, it would be inhaled into your very blood, weaving itself into your consciousness and binding your fate to his. The cellar seemed to vibrate, the stone walls pulsing like a heart, and you understood that the perfume was not waiting for you. It was demanding to be released. With a final, decisive breath, you seized the stopper and pulled. A sound like 1,000 sighs filled the vault, a torrential rush of wind that smelled of rain, of blooming night jasmine, and of the profound quiet peace of the grave. The light from the bottle erupted, blinding and white, shattering the darkness and revealing not just the cellar, but the infinite interconnected tapestry of every life that had touched this place. You closed your eyes, but it didn't matter. The vision had already seared itself into your mind. You weren't a traveler anymore. You were the final ingredient. As the scent flooded your senses, you didn't fall. You ascended, your consciousness expanding until it touched the stars, the soil, and the very foundation of the mountain. You became the silence. You became the jasmine. And finally, you became the memory that would never ever fade. The vault was empty. The door was shut, and the story of the perfumer had at last found its perfect eternal end.
Sleepy History with Theodore is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purpose.
The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history.
But they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience. This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.